again.
Yeah, Jordan was cut.
Yeah, but, you know, that was
That's
the
why.
first time he had really added muscle to his frame.
That is why I hysterically laugh every time someone tries to tell me LeBron couldn't have played in the other era.
But, I mean, think about that. That was in between Jordan's 6th and 7th season when he took his physical fitness to a new level.
All right, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. On this first Friday of May. Hope you've had a good week. Thanks for ending it with us in some way, shape, or form here on the Florida Sports Network. How you holding up on this Friday?
I'm doing great.
Are you?
I'm fired up for today. I'm fired up for the weekend. I'm fired up for the Derby, the F1 race, to see if Sergio Garcia does anything more fun today than he did yesterday.
Can't wait till I'm done with you guys.
God, love me some Sergio yesterday. He channeled his inner Miller and Moulton right there.
You do know the golfing media is about to, and it is some of the most passive media in the history of Western civilization. But you do know the golfing media is about to become unhinged and go after all these guys, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, they are going to go ape blank crazy going after each and every one of these individuals as if they themselves are committing atrocities to their fellow mankind.
They are lapdogs for the PGA Tour. And they will prove it here in the next coming weeks and months. But there's no doubt, David, that they are going to go after everybody that they can who's leaving this thing. And
especially since you and I believe that me more so than you, I think, believe that the PGA Tour is going to say, hey, you cross the line, you're dead to us. I mean, for those that don't know, Sergio Garcia got in a little rules, controversy with the rules official. Sergio was actually right. We can deal with that. That's the smaller potatoes here. But Sergio, who it was not known that was one of the players interested in playing in this LIV/Saudi tour, is how it's being called. And Sergio says to the rules official, and I may be a word or two off here, I can't wait until 3 weeks from now when I don't ever have to deal with you guys again.
No, that was, I think, one of the 3 or 4 quotes that came after I can't wait to leave this tour. I can't wait to get out of here. Just a couple more weeks, and I don't have to deal with you anymore. And then let a few expletives fly around the green when he went for round 2.
And Sergio actually was in the right. The rules official made a mistake. And to compound matters, the PGA Tour acknowledged the rules official made a mistake, but would not rescind the 1-stroke penalty that was handed down to him. I mean, now that's arrogant. Come on, you got to acknowledge we screwed up. Yes, it was our fault. Or are you going to take the penalty back? No.
Well, David, he signed the scorecard in the
proper area. Right. Well, yeah, never mind the fact you got to sign it in the proper area. Not just sign it. It has to be signed in the proper area. It's another pet peeve. That was a whole show one day back in the first act. But there's 2 things that we learned from Sergio's quote in the fit of anger. Is that A, oh, wow, you're one of the 15 or so in the top 100 that signed up to get out. And that secondly, Sergio believes the PGA Tour's threat. In 3 weeks, I won't have to deal with you. Because that's Sergio believing that he will be kicked off the tour.
Yep.
Lee Westwood as well. Two guys, by the way, who would, without question, if they never hit another golf ball, if they retired today, would both be Ryder Cup captains in the next 10 years. Without question.
How are you going to keep Sergio off the European Ryder Cup team?
How about Lee Westwood, for that matter? But yes, Sergio, a legendary Ryder Cup player. Legendary. Continued the whole Spanish Armada with Seve and Olazabal. I mean, there was the running joke, Sergio couldn't win a major, but tell him it's the Ryder Cup, he'd beat the field. I think he's lost like one Sunday singles match, at least up until this last one when they all got their doors beat. Yeah. Well, and Westwood was asked about it on Tuesday. You know, what if this disqualifies you from being a Ryder Cup captain? And Westwood said, well, yeah, I don't have any power over that. That's a decision that the European Tour has to make. I don't think, by the way, I even if most people feel that what the players are doing is wrong, that they wish they would not take the quote unquote blood money. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
I mean, Mickelson was right, by the way, in the comments that got him in trouble. I mean, it's a terrible regime. They do terrible things. They stand for terrible things. I mean, the golfers are taking the money. Period. End of sentence. They are taking the money. It's the cash grab of cash grabs. And Westwood said, I'm an independent contractor. I work for myself. This is what I'm going to do. But I do, while I think most golf fans will be disappointed, Mark, I don't know of any golf fans that are going to be outraged. Because let's face it, we don't get outraged. We get fake outraged. Oh, my goodness. The world is dominated by fake outrage. But real outrage? Oh, there's hardly any real outrage.
No, and there's not going to be real outrage over this tour. If you're a golf fan, you're going to go, where can I watch it on television?
Yeah, and if I can't, oh, well.
I'll watch the PGA Tour.
Yeah. My life's okay if I don't see Phil or Westwood or Sergio on a TV screen ever again. I'll be good. Combined, by the way, I've seen the three of them play over 70 years worth of golf, so I'm good. All three guys on the decline, by the way.
Yes.
Which is a common theme
of all the players, right?
Except for maybe Kevin Na. If it's true about Kevin Na, I mean, he's ranked 33rd in the world, and he's a young guy. So, but I think golf fan be disappointed. I wish they hadn't done it. But I also think golf fan is going to be like, because the other thing, we don't know how the majors are going to handle this.
And I don't think they can do anything really, certainly not the U.S. Open and the British Open, hence the Open.
Correct. Now, the PGA is interesting, and especially since the PGA is 2 weeks from yesterday. And the PGA is probably saying to the PGA Tour, hey, could you just hold off on banning these guys for life until so that we have to deal with it next year? Could you give us some time to figure out whether or not we're going to allow these guys into the field next year?
Because the PGA event is run by the PGA of America, not the PGA Tour. It's the only, but they're linked, obviously. So that's the tournament that will get the most pressure from the tour. The tour can pressure the RNA and can pressure the USGA for the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. But I don't know how much they're going to listen to the tour. I think they're going to do what they do.
Well, because it's not the U.S. Open unless you join the LIV Tour, and the Open Championship unless you join the LIV Tour. Never mind the fact you're going to have golfers who are automatically in. You know, they're qualified. I mean, I'm guessing that at least Sergio, certainly Phil, because he won last year's PGA. I mean, and Phil's won the British, so he can play it forever, or at least till 65. I mean, I'm curious what the majors are going to do, but it's clear by Sergio's quote in a fit of anger that he, and I'm guessing they've all talked. I mean, come on, the 15 or so guys who are
right,
trying to play the LIV Tour, they've all talked to one another. That clearly they're of the belief that, well, this is it for me on the PGA Tour.
that they believe what the tour said. They believe that they're going to kick them off for life.
And obviously you could see how just crushed Westwood and Garcia are that they'll never get to play in a Wells Fargo Open again. But you are also, once again, Norman / Mickelson, they're going to just get their legacies destroyed. They are going to be piñatas, dartboards, pick the cliche. But there's actually quite a few things that they've said in the last 6 months that are proving to be right. I mean, there are a lot of golfers that apparently are frustrated with the PGA Tour that we've never heard about.
Well, for Sergio to blow up the way he did on a rules official, I mean, this is arguing with the umpire after all. We don't see this in golf very often. But obviously there has to be some sort of a tipping point that things have been going on that they're bothered, because this is a little out of character for Sergio. He's a fiery guy, but we don't have him yelling at tour officials.
Right, he's not Patrick Reed. And he was yesterday.
Yes.
There's another guy, by the way, who it wouldn't shock me if he made the jump.
Whatever his wife tells him to do.
I mean, this is a guy who's written off half of his family. You don't think he can write off the PGA Tour? He's written off his parents and his sister.
In a nanosecond.
You don't think he could walk away from the St. Jude Classic? Come on now.
Not the St. Jude.
I know.
But the thing of it is that the St. Jude Classic and the Wells Fargo, I think, can easily walk away from all these guys and it won't be a problem.
Agreed. You know, Norman was quoted a few days ago as saying, man, the timing of Phil's quotes in the book, because we were 24 hours away from having an announcement. And Greg goes, you have no idea the people that were in who in 24 hours said, count me out. And he goes, and we returned a lot of checks back to people who had put deposits down about being in certain events. And he said, we returned all the money. And Norman basically said, because we figure wait a little while, they'll be back. Hey, you are anti-spring football. This is a spring football league
with teeth, David.
With real money.
With teeth. This is the original USFL. This is the ABA. This is the World Hockey Association. This is a league that's got some teeth to it because it's got the financial backing. This is not the Carolina Hurricanes owner who, after 2 weeks of the AAF, said, what? You've gone through how much of my money?
Think about it. They have no golfers. They have no TV network. And yet they're the most legitimate threat in alternative sports that we've seen in a while. Miller and Moulton, the Friday edition. Thanks for being with us, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove, with a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals. The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I would have won money on the NHL last night. So I wouldn't have bet the West, but I would have been all over both those games. I knew that fucking kid can't play goalie. He's terrible.
Listen, I feel badly, because they haven't won a playoff series since they won back-to-back cups.
Right.
And Malkin's a free agent, and Letang's a free agent. So they, the whole, hey, are they going to re-sign these guys? Listen, I'd let Malkin walk, but I think they need Chris Letang.
Yeah, I agree. He's still good.
He's still their best defenseman. I don't think you can afford to lose your best defenseman. Apparently, the Browns are not willing to pick up hardly anything. They're making teams give them a draft pick and take on the $19 million.
Then they won't get to trade him.
Right.
Which playoffs are you more interested in?
NBA, NHL, neither. Yeah, I got to be honest. I've rooted for some bad teams and some organizations that have been embarrassing for periods of time, but this thing in Cincinnati, I don't know how I'd be. The other thing you got to realize about a Cincinnati fan is they've put up with the Bengals being the Bungles forever. And now that the Bungles are good, $20 of 21.
Where are you going to go?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Bearcat baseball would be high on my list right now if I wanted to go watch a baseball game.
Do you just go, do you pull a Moulton?
You got to turn it off the television, though, too. You can't even watch.
Right. Well, there's no come on, 3 and 22.
Is Joey Votto playing in these games?
No, he was put on the injured list a few days ago. But he played in most of them.
Bet you he's thrilled.
Hold on, Coffin Ball. Really? Last year when they were in it until the end, the year before when they made the playoffs, you were out. The previous 2 years. I mean, September 1st last year, they were in the playoffs.
See, this is just unfair. By the way, what are we watching J-Will and whatever for?
I was watching PTI earlier. I'm going to take it off now. PTI is the greatest.
Oh, wow. There's a rocket launch this morning.
Oh, my gosh. I need to see that. there's any this summer, I need to drive up and check it out. It's something I've always wanted to see.
Me too.
And I've been to NASA, like in Cape Canaveral. Ten seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Hope you've had a good week. NBA, NHL playoffs, Kentucky Oaks today, Kentucky Derby tomorrow. NASCAR race at Darlington? Bringing out the old paint schemes. F1 race in Miami. It's not football. I mean, this is when you find out, are you a sports fan or just a football fan? Because if you put this sucker in hibernation for the next 3.5 months, you're just a football fan. There's a lot going on. Nothing wrong with that. We're not passing judgment. We're just saying. And a lot of people have gone from being sports fans to football fans.
They really have. That's the one thing you and I have noticed in the last decade is the number of people that have gone from being just sports fans to just football fans. Echo Zulu, by the way, big fan of Echo Zulu in today's Oaks, just because of the name.
Okay.
Long odds. It's gonna rain. Both maybe today and tomorrow. Could be a wet derby. Find yourself a mutter.
Ooh.
Messier's got to be a mutter.
Well, I love jockeys who have won the Derby before. Always have. I'm known to throw money on horses just because of the jockey. I used to bet Mike Smith horses a lot because I just felt like Mike Smith made you money. Can you end your relationship with a team? Have you ever ended your relationship? Not put on the side.
No, and my relationships with my sports teams are very much on the side. I broke up with my closest sports relationship.
And that was?
Michigan State. And you know that. After the Larry Nassar thing, I didn't wear a Michigan State article of clothing. I still have not rooted for them the same way I did before that.
But you considered that was a breakup?
I threw all the stuff in a garbage bag, buried it in the corner of my room for 3 years. Once all the board of trustees members were since gone, I've now rooting for the team.
So you blamed, and then once they get rid of all the people that you blamed, you're like, all right, I'm the one.
Not necessarily. There's only one person to blame. There's plenty who lets things go on, but they were pretty defiant when they tried to keep the president, some of the other things, past history. But yeah, but my relationships with the Tigers.
But you came back.
I came back, but my relationship with the Tigers and the Pistons and the Red Wings right now are put on the side because they collectively all suck.
Okay, so, but you're pretty confident that your affection for them is still very much there, that if they get their acts together, you're going to be there.
Get a new dress, get a new haircut. Change it up a little bit.
Gotcha.
Spice things up a little bit for me, would you?
All right. I have never broken up with a team. Now, I broke up with the NHL for a year.
You did?
I did. I penalized them for a year.
Right.
But I knew when I was breaking up with them that I put an end date on it. Put it this way, I suspended the NHL from my life for a year.
You took a sabbatical.
I did.
Took an NHL sabbatical.
I did.
And I never, ever thought it was a breakup. I as someone who remembers when you did
it,
to me, you never broke up with them.
Right. And I knew I was coming back to the NHL. I mean,
you pretty much said so.
Yeah, this really was, technically, Did I break up with the girl? Yes, but that's because I was going overseas.
And it just seemed like the right
and
thing
we might
to do.
as well just be broken up, and we'll be back in the same town a year from now. If we rekindle the romance, we rekindle the romance. But let's just make it easier on both of us. We're broken up. But it really was a sabbatical / suspension of me with the NHL for 1 year. But I'm just thinking about the poor Cincinnati Reds fan. They lost again.
That's
20
of 21.
Right. They're 3-22. I mean, that's really tough to do in Major League Baseball. I mean, to the point where if you promoted a AAA team to play against major league teams, I think they could go 3-22, maybe even a little bit better.
Oh, I guarantee you they go a little bit better.
I mean, I think they could win 5 out of 25. I think they could go 5-20.
So I believe it was, in the 1800s, the Cleveland Spiders have the record for the worst record ever. Their winning percentage was like 188. Right now, the Reds is 120.
They're on pace to win like 20-something games. Now,
I know that's not going to happen.
But the fact that this horrid display of baseball is literally timed with the president, owner, son, COO, essentially looking the fans dead in the face and saying, you're not going anywhere. You could call the sports talk show and complain all you want. I mean, on it, write as many letters to the damn editor as you want. You live in Cincinnati. You got the Reds and the Bengals. Trust me, we just watched the Bengals be the Bungles for 20 years. All right, you guys didn't go anywhere. Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go?
And I'm just wondering.
And this is the Cincinnati Reds.
Oldest franchise
in baseball.
Even older than the Tigers.
I mean, used to do the parade on opening day. It was a big deal. And the
even,
big red machine is not too far. I mean, it is for,
And even this year, it's ironic. Only the third time since World War II that the Reds did not open at home. Even Major League Baseball kind of throwing a little gasoline on the fire. The Reds, remember, were the opening night opponent for the Braves when they, celebrated their world championship. Obviously, it was in Atlanta. So everything about this season, the Reds were competitive the last 2 years. They made the playoffs in the pandemic season of 2020. They actually had the lead in the wild card in early September last year, faltered. I mean, they had a very easy schedule, and they blew it. And then the Cardinals got obscenely hot, and the Reds didn't make the playoffs. But they were a young, competitive team, and ownership sold off 4 of their best players. And the fans were really unhappy, prompting the COO to say, yeah, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go? And they have now lost 20 of 21 since he did that interview.
I mean, literally in hours after is when it started.
Yes.
He said that the morning of the home opener also. Timing. You losers. You can't go anywhere. You live in Cincinnati.
They're 14.5 back. Just to give you an idea of the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, David.
Wow, you're going 19th century.
It's the worst baseball team ever. They were 20-134. They lost 24 in a row, had 6 streaks of 11 or more losses, and finished 84 games behind the league leaders. And the Reds are in their area code right now.
Just wondering, can you divorce your team? Can you genuinely say, I'm done, and never go back?
I don't think so. I know people can. I know it. I know of people that have done it. I couldn't do it.
I've almost done it with the Marlins.
But you haven't.
But I didn't.
You were agonizing before the show about their 4 one-run losses in a row. I mean, so you're not even close to breaking up the Marlins.
And I don't think Reds fans should even consider it, considering what the Bengals just did, even though they didn't even win the Super Bowl. The payoff.
As Art says, no, but we are separated. So there's a Reds fan who is separated from his team.
Well, and I think if you're a Reds fan, you have to separate. And I mean, you don't watch, you don't go, you don't listen.
So you come home, you check the answering machine, and she's called you, and you don't respond. Is that what you're saying? You're sitting there out at dinner in the phone, and you see it's her, and you don't take it?
Turn off the notifications, shut down the Facebook, and shut down the Twitter. Divorce the Reds.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled, marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
At the website also, they made the product better. Come on, we sit through 15-second ads on ESPN.
Yeah. Hell, I've never had a problem with a lot of the ads because with the internet, they know what I'm looking at, so they're usually sending me shit that I'm interested in too.
Well, but also, I think you and I are smart enough to realize that, hey, this doesn't work unless they can sell advertising. I mean,
right.
They need to pay their bills.
Embiid's out, so this sucker's done.
He's definitely out.
Ruled out for game 3 is what I saw.
Because last night they were saying there's a chance that he plays.
I got this right here.
Well, they list him as out, but there was a story last night that said he's listed as out.
Okay.
But
Brooks only got suspended for one game for that takedown?
Yeah.
He hit him in the head.
He did. I don't think he meant to do it intentionally. Do you? That he was coming across going for the ball and he clipped his head on the way to the ball?
Well, it wasn't much of a clip to me. It was a
Okay.
pretty hard bicep to the head.
How many would you have given him?
2.
Okay. There you go.
I'm not doing it because of the injury, but I mean, it was a swing to the head.
Mm-hmm.
If how we're ejecting players in basketball now, that was a swing to the head. You can't.
Yeah, but, Donkey, it's one thing that they're boring and that they've got no chance of winning And so you don't pay attention to them the way that you used to. But you know what we're talking about here. We're talking about, you know what? I'm just entirely fed up with them because of, the owner's attitude there. Screw you. F you. We don't care about you. Where are you going to go? I mean, that's different than the Broncos having 4 straight losing seasons, which you've never had before, so you don't know how to handle it. Sergio had a lost ball, and they were trying to. He didn't know where it landed, so he was on one side of water, and the rules official started the clock, and you're not supposed to start it until you get in the area of the lost ball. Also, isn't this a team format? This first event.
What's that?
This first event's like the Shark Shootout. This LIV Invitational. It's like it's a team.
I had no idea what
sorry.
you were talking about. I'm going, what the? I thought you were talking about the Wells Fargo. I'm like, no. Now watch when he gets to the green here. I mean, he's burning.
And he's playing well.
He shot 67.
Right.
No. Gary Woodland's just standing like dum, 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 dum.
He just said didn't speak to reporters after the round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is what we said in the open when we were talking about it.
I
'Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us on this first Friday in May. The Derby's tomorrow. The F1 race in Miami is Sunday. I think they do the green flag at 3:30. I think coverage starts at 2:30, but I don't think they're racing until 3:30. 40% chance of rain. I feel badly if it does rain because we're going to have 3 days of beautiful weather before it and 3 days of beautiful weather after it. That would kind of suck.
It would.
Rain on all those pretty people who've descended.
Gorgeous people.
Who have descended to Miami for just a Super Bowl-like party.
Mark, you didn't have to compliment me like that.
Your folks in town? Or everybody traveling today?
Everyone's getting here today, yeah.
Grandparents?
Grandparents.
Mom's
everything.
parents or dad's?
Mom's.
So grandparents, parents, your brother?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now, because maybe your brother did this, but I'm going to tell you right now, after the show, run to Publix, make sure you get yourself a Mother's Day card and some flowers. Because this weekend's all about you. And when Sunday morning you walk into, your mom comes to get you and you say, "Happy Mother's Day, Mom," with a card and flowers, you will vault over your brother.
Get one for your grandmother, too.
Yeah. David's right.
Damn.
Publix flowers. You're talking Publix flowers.
Yeah.
It's like $10 for,
Right.
It's the best deal on the planet.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
And women don't care that you didn't get flowers at a florist. They care that they got flowers. That's all they care about.
I mean, when you're going to get your buffalo chicken dip, just stop off and get the cards and
Buffalo
cheap flowers.
chicken dip.
And I guarantee you the cards are BOGO at Publix right now.
Bet you they have deals on flowers too.
Of course they do.
So you graduate college tomorrow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Well done.
It's all over now.
Boy, now you really have to work.
You're getting off that. It's another reason why, because you're trying to stay on the payroll and the extended payroll as long as possible. All right. These cards and flowers might get you through the summer. I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
Because believe me, it's going to be a shock to your system when you are dumped from the payroll.
Did you go Sergio at all in the last couple of weeks on campus? And say, I can't wait for 2 weeks when I'm done with all of you people.
No.
In your head, did you ever do it?
Yeah.
Is there a professor in particular you would like
No.
to go Sergio on?
Because I actually was blessed with good professors. But man, some previous ones, we don't got to go there.
Felipe spent 5 good minutes, as they say on PTI, trying to map out, man, how am I going to continue to use the rec center? Are they going to let me on the courts?
It's all that really matters now.
No, it's great. $50 for the summer.
Okay.
Paid. Boom.
So
Deal.
See? And if you do the cards and the flowers, that'll be covered easy.
It's almost a BOGO for you.
Exactly.
There we go.
They may even take care of the fall if you do it right. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
We didn't talk about this yesterday. Jerry Jones involved in a minor car crash. They won't say if he was driving. He's 79 years old. He's a billionaire. He should not be driving if he was. He was taken to the hospital, they say, as a precaution, and he's home resting comfortably. I hope he didn't take the Cowboys draft chart with him in the car to the hospital, because apparently Jerry has wanted to show everybody in the last week their draft chart, who they drafted and why. He's held it up for cameras. People have taken freeze frames of it. I mean, even his son said, "Dad, put that down." So I don't know if he was discussing it with his doctors in the hospital or not. Kyle Van Noy's on his 3rd team in 3 years. The former Dolphin, the twice former Patriot, the 31-year-old linebacker DN signed with the LA Chargers. They have added Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Sebastian Joseph Day, who's a defensive tackle, and now Kyle Van Noy via free agency to their defense. Their run defense last year was horrible. And yet just about everybody I see here is to help their pass defense. Well, they are in the same division as the Chiefs. So the Commanders have got the band back together again, Mark. Literally. See, with the pandemic, they used it as an excuse. The then Washington Redskins / WFT, now Commanders, eliminated the marching band, which was a staple at Redskins WFT games. After 87 years, they eliminated the marching band. Well, now after a 2-year hiatus, they are bringing the band back. So they are literally
Putting the band back together. I see what you did there. That's impressive, David.
college football. Former Gators quarterback Emory Jones transfers to Arizona State. He's got a real chance to play there. They've had like 3 quarterbacks leave via the transfer portal this offseason. And SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff met with senators yesterday asking for help in dealing with NIL. Huh.
Well, and the other news on the NIL that they are maybe going to...
Well, that's the NCAA.
Right.
That the NCAA is, they're paying their lawyers, man. I don't know if they're going to do anything, but they're threatening to do something, Mark. But yeah, the NCAA, let me get that story here. All right.
Didn't mean to, change your order on you.
Right no.
But since you were going coaches or commissioners and senators, I thought we were going to go.
No, I mean, Many an NCAA official has been meeting to come up with new NIL guidelines expected to be published next week. Here's the best part about it. They're going to be retroactive.
Bingo, that's it.
So that schools with boosters who have communicated / struck deals with players should be sanctioned. College leaders urging the NCAA to enforce new NIL guidelines or else is the title on Sports Illustrated.
Good luck.
They've been meeting in Arizona this week about it. Just one more thing for them to go to court and lose about. It's basic. Now, they will screw some kids for 2 years, though, until they get beat in court. I mean, I will say, they come down, they change the rules. They're going to screw some schools and some kids.
Well, they're not changing the rules. They're going to try to enforce the rules. Pay for play has never been part of this, David. I mean, look, I'm all for the NIL. I am. But you know what's happened here.
College leaders strongly urging the NCAA enforcement team to investigate what they deem to be the obvious recruiting violations, past and present. The donor-led collectives that have struck deals with players before they signed binding letters of intent, that to them is a clear violation of the rules. Can't disagree with that.
No.
Can't disagree with that.
They have no problem. You get recruited, you come on campus, they can get you paid. But they can't offer you $1 million to sign a national letter of intent. They are.
Right. No NBA playoffs last night. Dylan Brooks got just a 1-game suspension for his takedown.
I thought it should have been one more.
Of Gary Payton Jr., and he's going to miss a month. So he won't be eligible for the Warriors basically until the NBA Finals. That's if they get there. NHL playoffs. Panthers whooped up on the Caps 5-1. Aaron
Good
Ekblad.
Performance last night by the good, strong performance right from the get-go from the Florida Panthers.
Bobrovsky with 26 saves, series tied at 1. Rangers, good, strong performance from the get-go. Panarin and Vetrano each with a goal and 2 assists. Shesterkin 39 saves. 5-2 Rangers over the Pens. That series tied at 1. Dallas tied their series with Calgary at 1 with a 2-0 win. Jake Ottinger, 29 saves in the shutout. And Colorado needed overtime, even though they dominated Nashville. The Preds goalie stood on his head, 49 saves. Cale Makar, the game winner, 8 minutes into OT. Avs up to spit. Game 3 tonight. Toronto, Tampa in Tampa, Carolina, Boston in Boston, Minnesota, St. Louis in St. Louis, Edmonton, LA in LA. 3 of those series are 1-1. Boston trails Carolina 2-0. Major League Baseball, Marlins have lost 5 in a row. That's after they won 7 in a row. San Diego beat them 2-1, 4th straight 1-run loss for the Fish. Tampa Bay has won 3 in a row. Mariners have lost 3 in a row, 4-3 Tampa over Seattle. Reds have lost 9 in a row and 20 of 21.
Where are you going to go?
Milwaukee doubled them up 10-5. Cincinnati is 3-22. 3-22. Ohtani became the first pitcher to bat in the top 4 of the batting order at Fenway Park since Babe Ruth in 1919 yesterday.
And Ohtani delivered.
7 innings of shutout ball, 11 strikeouts, no walks. He had a 3-ball count on 1 batter. He had a 2-ball count on 4 batters. He then went 2 for 4 at the plate with a run scored and an RBI. Game was scoreless until the 7th. Angels ended up winning 8-0. They're in first. The Mets scored 7 in the 9th to beat the Phillies 8-7. Ouch.
Devastating loss for the Phillies. Really is, David. I know it's early, but we talked about this series, 4 games, Phillies at home. Mets out to a great start. You think you've got them dead to rights in the game. And
well, not only that, you sent either your best or second best pitcher to the hill as well against their number 5 starter, and you're up 7-1 in the ninth. Now you got to face the Mets the next 3 days. You don't have either of your 2 best pitchers who are going to pitch. And the Mets are throwing Scherzer today. 8-7 Mets over the Phils. Twins have won 2 straight to the Orioles, who, by the way, are tied with the Red Sox for 4th in the East. I mean, they're not any good. They're 10-16, but I mean, come on, let's face it. We thought, Mark, let's be honest. If we had asked a question at the beginning of the season, there's going to be a team this year that starts 3-22. Who would you have put your money on?
Baltimore.
Yeah. They're 10-16. Houston's won 4 in a row. They beat the Tigers 3-2 with a run in the bottom of the ninth. I will say Detroit tied it. 2 outs, nobody on, down 2-0 in the ninth. They get a single and a 2-run homer on a 2-strike pitch to tie it. End up losing 3-2. Cleveland beat Toronto 6-5. Colorado hit 3 homers, beat the Nats 9-7. Giants have lost 4 in a row. Cardinals beat them 7-1. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli and 2 players tested positive for COVID. Oh, by the way, that's still a thing. And then you got the golf. Jason Day's your leader at 7 under.
Whatever.
Sergio's had a mini fit and has let everybody know he's leaving the tour for the LIV event in 3 weeks. Oh, yeah. And more, what do they call it? Installments, clips from Alan Shipnuck's book on Mickelson.
Little excerpt came out, and, Phil likes to gamble. And he's not good at it.
No, and we've known that too. But how bad was he at it? Apparently, between 2010 and 2014, he lost $40 million.
$40 million.
And the one thing that is interesting is the book alleges that the reason that Phil and Bones broke up is that Phil owed him money.
Lots of money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in back pay.
And that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
You think the golf fans are going to care about all this? Are they going to care about the whole Saudi tour and how many Phil fans are going to leave Phil over this book?
Oh, I don't know how many Phil fans leave him over this book, because even Shipnuck says in the, I read an article with the excerpt and then a lot of his comments is that he spends a lot of time praising Phil. He really likes Phil and goes out of his way to compliment him. But there are,
there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
There really is. And the one story I got about Phil's gambling is that a PGA Tour official or a reporter is in the locker room, and Phil makes like 50 college basketball bets, one after another. But this guy's wife works for Hugo Boss. Phil has a deal with Hugo Boss Clothing, and it was almost if Phil was making the bets in front of him saying, I dare you to say something.
And apparently when Phil lost, he'd call up his agent and say, remember that speaking thing I wasn't going to do, that golf clinic for $100,000? Yeah, sign me up. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for ending your week with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We get to 9 o'clock. And when I go, man, that flew by.
Yep.
Hey, say B.
Say B.
Say B. Like the letter B.
Right, B.
Now say C. Just
B,
C.
C.
now say Cleta.
Cleta.
That's what that goal was. Bicicleta.
Man, that sounds like some of the violence that was threatened on the last episode of Ozark right there.
Did it involve bicycles? 'Cause it was a bicycle kick.
I'm not going to say a word.
Oh,
There are
true.
people. There are
Yeah,
people
good
that have not seen it. I'm not saying anything about the final season of Ozark.
You know, with as much as you guys talk about that show, I'm surprised I haven't even started it.
Oh,
My roommate watched it. He says it's good.
when
Muting the mic. No spoilers. You guys are muted.
No.
Now you guys
I've
are
never heard-
muted. Oh, I muted them. No spoilers.
Mom, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say.
Whoa.
When she goes, whenever my wife is like in need of an attitude adjustment, I text her, channel your inner Ruth.
Oh,
Is one of the best TV characters in a while. It was like the Breaking Bad guy, and I mean, there's been a handful of TV characters here in the last 5 years that have been outstanding. She was the best character on that show, which is saying something.
So my buddy Motley must be listening in Greenville, South Carolina. Jonathan India winning Rookie of the Year last year is what started this mess for the Reds. Front office thought, wow, we know how to scout young talent. Let's go the Rays route. They whiffed on all their young pitchers. Haven't watched a pitch, but look at the box scores. ERAs are through the roof. Of course, you know what I responded with.
Thanks for listening.
So, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go? Yep. I'm not, nobody is to write or say anything in the chat room. You do not do that. No spoiler alert, none of that crap. Nope. People haven't seen it.
yeah, because I've only seen 2.
Yeah. There's 7 episodes. It ends up being a 14 episode season 4.
Are you done?
Yeah. Yeah. We watched all this week. We watched the 7 episodes.
Okay.
So we did like 2, 2, 2, and 3, or no, 2, 2, and 3, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. 1, 1, 2, and 3, something like that.
I'll do it probably Monday, Tuesday.
But yeah. Yeah, I missed the first period of Rangers Penguins to watch the last episode of Ozark.
Okay.
Got a big weekend of sports coming up.
What? Did you say it's not?
Paul, that's fine.
Oh, it
I totally
is.
get it.
We
Well,
have-
first off, you have to have Netflix, and some people don't. I get it.
I literally said we got a big weekend of
Oh, I thought you
sports.
said
coming
we
up.
don't have a weekend, very big weekend of sports.
No,
Wow.
quite the opposite.
I'm going to go back to this Reds thing. By the way, are we going with the poll question?
Yeah, it's
Are
up.
we going with the poll question? It's up. Okay.
10 seconds.
Whatever.
Fine. Jeez. I'll break your ankles.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Friday, the 1st of May. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Florida Sports Network. The Florida Sports Network. Got a good show lined up for you. Talk a little football in the 8 o'clock hour. I know it's not a football Friday. You know, first one in a while. It's okay. You'll get through this. We'll be here to help. But we will talk some football in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll tackle college football and the a bit of a mess that they got going on right now. Off the field, if you will. And what, if anything, can be done to make it less messy. And well, we'll also talk a little NFL. And we may, Mark, for 1.5 to 3 minutes, have to talk about a spring football league because of who our guest is.
We've got a head coach on.
Right.
We're definitely going to talk XFL.
Okay. So Anthony Becht will join us about an hour and a half from now. It's funny, he covers the Bucs and the Jets between spring training and where he lives and all that, but he is one of the head coaches for the XFL for 2023.
You want to text the show? There's 3 ways to do it. The easiest way is to text the keyword FSN radio to 21,000. Then you're in behind the text door. The other way is if you've known either one of us long enough, you just text us directly.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a few dozen of them.
Like the one I got at around 6:36, right after we talked about divorcing your team, from a very good friend of mine who is a diehard Cincinnati Reds fan.
Yeah.
And gives me that I haven't watched a pitch, reads the box scores, and going after the front office and all of these things. You know how I respond to that, don't you?
You didn't.
Where are you going to go?
Oh, come on. You're so cold.
Where are you going to go?
Oh, that is
But
very,
we had some
very cold.
Panther fans text us last night from the game with some crowd shots, some video
Really?
crowd shots. Always love
Awesome.
to see that, as the Panthers took care of business last night, even in the series at 1 game apiece with the Capitals before they head to Washington. Tampa comes home now for 2 with their series even with the Leafs. The Heat looking to go up 3-0 in their series.
Now, Lightning tickets, real quick, maybe a little more expensive, but I go 2 hours that way, 2 hours this way. Should I go to a Lightning game?
They're going to be 3 times the money.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easy.
Plus, Maple Leaf fans travel. So they will fight you for the tickets, and they will outbid you for the tickets.
They were 150 yesterday in the secondary market versus 50 for a Panther game. So you're going to pay. The Lightning fan is a great fan. They have a terrific fan base, and David's right. The Canadians that are still down here, they may not tip anything. They're only going to tip 8 to 10% on the bill, but they'll pay for a hockey ticket.
At that point, it's not even worth it.
But we're asking the question, and with the Reds off to a 3-22 start, and come on, we've all rooted for bad teams before. But there's more to it than the record. There's the fact that they haven't been good for the most part lately, but the last 2 years they were competitive and they had a nice nucleus together, and they chose not to pay it. And then worse than that, they traded it all away. And one of the deals that they made, people feel as if they just got fleeced. And Reds fans were really upset by it. And they were complaining before the season started in the first week of the season. And you know, because we've joked that the Reds COO, who happens to be the son of the owner, very arrogantly, not once but twice, radio and TV.
Right, doubled down. After doing it the first time, was basically given the opportunity, given the lifeline to have a little bit of contrition. And to at least say, well, what I meant was.
Because it happened. He goes on radio in the morning of the home opener, says what he says, which is not good. And in the 3 hours between that and pregame of the home opener, I mean, Twitter and what have you, the reaction is not good. So, Mark, come on. We know how this game is played. The sideline reporter, if you will, on Reds baseball now is interviewing the COO on the field before the game. I'm going to bet a large amount of money that interview was not scheduled at 9 a.m. on the home opener. But because of what the Yahoo said on WLW, which is the number one radio station in Cincinnati.
On a good night, you can hear it here in Tampa.
Yeah. So that he now, listen, you need to go and you need to, do an interview and, try to do a little better. And so, the question, and it was asked in a very underhanded way. Can you understand the fans, frustration? That's it. And then the guy just holds the microphone and he just
doubles and triples down. Basically says, yeah, but can you understand our frustration? If we want this team to really be competitive, we should move it.
Right. And besides,
where are you going to go?
Well, they're 1-20 since he uttered those words, and Reds fans are bent. And I'm just curious. We're curious. Have you ever divorced a team? Divorced? Like Mark, because of the Larry Nassar scandal, and he was drop dead serious about it. The complexion on his face contorted and changed. And we were broadcasting in our second act from your spare bedroom, and the stuff was in a garbage bag in the corner of a closet, and some of which you had given away. You had a Michigan State golf bag, a Michigan State golf covers. You threw it all in the garage.
Yeah, gone. And my fandom has never been the same.
And once everybody from the board got removed and what have you, you at least you started grabbing some of the stuff back. But you even said, there are a lot of games I don't watch. They lose, I don't get whatever. They win. Okay, nice win. So your fandom has changed.
It's changed.
But you didn't divorce them.
Nope.
You broke up with them. Or put it this way, you separated.
We separated.
You went on a 3-year separation.
Yes.
You're still married to them.
Because of the kids.
And you don't love your partner the same way.
No. Just sticking through because of the kids.
Right. Have you ever divorced a team? FSN radio to 21,000 if you've never texted before, if you're watching and listening in our Twitch chat room. Divorced a team. Because that's what is genuinely being discussed in Cincinnati, in which people are like, you know what? The losing is one thing, but to mock us to our face. And by the way, in the last 3 weeks, they have not made any effort as an organization to reach back out to the fans, to apologize, to try to explain anything. No, nothing.
And it's obvious. I mean, this is an obvious statement, but it's obviously creeped into the clubhouse. They can't win, and they're getting killed. No one showed up at the games. This is messy. And I'm with you. The fact that nobody from the Reds, including Phil, was it Castellini?
Yeah, that's his president and COO.
Has not
Nothing. No. Fam forever in our Twitch chat room. I've never divorced a team, but the closest I came was when the Cardinals let Pujols walk. Turned out they made the right move. Judge Smales says me and the Cubs are living on opposite sides of the house right now. I'm guessing for letting the whole core that won the World Series go.
Welcome to the club.
And I think, Super Joe here says I divorced the NBA. I think a lot of people have done that with leagues. But I've not, and Philly and I've talked about this, I've not watched the NBA the way I used to, but I think it's largely because the team that I root for has not been good in a decade.
Soon.
You may be right.
Very soon.
And the other side of it was the East hasn't been good. So in order to watch good basketball for the last 5 years, you basically had to stay up till midnight, and doing a morning show makes that difficult. The East was pretty good this year. The East playoffs have been solid so far.
JB Vike in our Twitch chat room, can you become just friends with the franchise? After the Vikings lost the 98 championship game, I told myself I would never get that bent out of shape again. That's very different. No. That's not even a separation. That's no. That's not a breakup and then you get back together again. I mean, you're still very much married. Okay. All right. So you don't love her the same way anymore, but come on, you're still together. There's no thoughts of divorce. That no offense. That's just growing old together is what that is.
The immediacy of things can happen too, David. Like this texter says, last night's Philly game has me thinking about it.
Well, listen, I feel your pain. 3 years ago, I watched the Mets give up 7 in the ninth and lose to the Nats and pretty much derail them in their playoff pursuit. Nats go on to win the wild card in the World Series.
This person grew up in Cincy, divorced the Bengals when Mike Brown clearly didn't care about the product on the field, adopted the Steelers because I went to Miami University with Big Ben. Ooh.
Okay, all right.
But are you back?
Yeah, then no offense.
I need a follow-up text here.
Yeah, no offense. If you came back last year, then you didn't divorce him. Because
you just cheated on him for a decade.
And I understand that there are people that marry a second time, but you have to acknowledge that is the very small percentage.
Pittsburgh Pirates and I have been legally separated for a very long time.
There you go. Now that makes sense, and that's a perfect explanation. That's a 5 to 7 year separation. I'm totally with you. You gave him a brand new ballpark. It's a beautiful ballpark.
It's gorgeous. Ben, by the way, the guy still a Steelers fan. Oh, good for you. Because if you make the jump, you got to make the jump. And that's an awkward jump in Cincinnati to be wearing Pittsburgh stuff around.
Now, I will say in about 3 years, because Lemieux's no longer the owner of the Pens, and when Sid's done, I'll be curious to see Penguins fandom. Because when 87 ain't on the ice, they ain't going to be that good. And you're about 3 years away from that. So I'll be very curious as to whether his legal separation with the Pirates is going to begin with the Penguins in the latter part of this decade. But, Bop and Jake, I haven't divorced a team, but my fandom for the Knicks is a lot like a marriage. Me and the Knicks, we're not in good shape. Haven't been in good shape in a long time.
Divorce, though. Right. A lot of legally separated.
Yes.
A lot of people that might be cheating on their team a little bit.
Ups and downs.
Right.
In a relationship. We get it. But have you ever divorced a team?
Maybe having an affair with the Golden State Warriors because they were really fun to watch for a while.
Because let's face it, she is really cute. Really cute.
Miller and Moulton, we thank you so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Looks good in jeans.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That's one way to do it.
Ooh.
I will say, it's...
Who's
God,
got a
the
worse
Reds.
batting average than the Reds?
The Reds suck. 203 batting average, 6.86 ERA, minus 87 run differential.
Hey, can you turn the computer on for a quick second?
Absolutely.
I don't want to put you in a tough spot here, but some comments from earlier this morning on the radio are making their rounds on social media. I was just going to try to give you a platform to respond to kind of what you said earlier today, because I think some fans are taking it the wrong way, possibly, or feeling like they're rubbed the wrong way.
Okay, what you have to be more specific.
Just saying that, what else are they going to do?
Well, the answer is, are you going to abandon being a Reds fan? Are you going to abandon following this team? We haven't abandoned it. We haven't abandoned investing in the team and the community. So the point is, how about everybody just settle down and celebrate and cheer for the team? You can hate on us all you want. We're not going anywhere. We haven't abandoned our commitment to winning and investing in this franchise and in this community. So the point is, stay tuned and be a fan. Celebrate these guys and look what they did in Atlanta and come out here and celebrate that today. So whatever the message was heard, what I mean is stay loyal to your team and the players that give you 110% effort every day.
Where are you going to go?
Today, since unofficial holiday, we
You want me to leave it on and turn it off?
Leave it on.
Well, it was an afternoon full of highs and lows here at Great American Ballpark for the Reds home opener. But
today is Cincinnati's unofficial holiday.
Is here to talk about something earlier today.
Speaking to him before the game, I don't think he sensed how deep this was. As I was driving into Great American Ballpark this morning, I heard Phil Castellini being interviewed on the team's flagship station, WLW. When he was asked about all the criticism from fans for trading off some of their favorite players and conserving payroll, Castellini referred to moving the team to compete economically. If that wasn't enough, he added, be careful what you wish for. Through the pregame festivity.
I thought I could get the radio one too. Well, there.
well, it was an afternoon full of highs.
Glad to be here.
This should be a national holiday and
Birthday week.
Of W when asked why fans should show some faith after a few offseason moves that weren't deemed favorable by fans.
Well, where are you going to go? No.
By fans.
The guy laughed.
Well, where are you going to go? Let's start there. I mean, sell the team to who? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you want to have this debate. If you want to look at what would you do with this team to have it be more profitable, make more money, compete more in the current economic system that this game exists, it would be to pick it up and move it somewhere else. Yeah. And so be careful what you ask for. If you want to have this debate, that's the other thing. I mean, you want to have this. Let's start there.
Favorable by fans.
Well,
If we want it.
Where you want to go?
If we want it, I got it.
Yeah, I need to cut that sound up.
Yeah.
At a, where are you going to go?
By the way, right there, you sounded like Emilio Estevez when he was doing peyote in the movie about Billy the Kid.
When I imitated Phil?
Yeah, because it wasn't close to Phil.
Well, where are you going to go?
That's pretty good, old white guy. That was much better.
I was consulting the lawyer if the Twins didn't sign Buxton this offseason. That's interesting. Robes, who are we talking about here? Everyone seems to have their doors packed. Talking about the Reds?
Thank you, Young Guns. I'm having a Moulton with movies this week.
No. Trenton, where did the Rays go political? I don't understand that one. I understand. Also, you're angry at the Marlins about the stadium deal. Do you live there? Are you a county taxpayer there?
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. We'll talk a lot of football in the 8 o'clock hour. Right now, I mean, it's still funny, but it's now gotten sad. I mean, the Reds have lost 20 of 21 ever since their president and COO and owner's son, Phil Castellini, said to the fan base, who was a little disgruntled by their offseason moves in which they seem to intentionally get worse and get cheaper, where are you going to go? And so we just asked, I mean, have you ever divorced a team? Because in a sense, Mark, I mean, if you don't divorce the Reds, isn't Phil Castellini right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's the part that I think the Reds fans so pissed off about. To be quite frank, where are you going to go? I mean, divorcing your team is hard. It's a lot easier to divorce a wife than it is to divorce a team. You've been with the team a lot longer, David. For most of us, we've been with our teams for life. You know, not everybody, most people pick their teams because of their parents and their grandparents or whatever the case may be. I know there are some out there that said, oh, Dad likes the Giants, I'm going to like the Cowboys. It happens. But by and large, we follow the teams that are family, where we live and things of that nature.
There is a gentleman on our Twitch chat room who said he has divorced the Dolphins. Years ago, he divorced the Dolphins. Has not come back in any way, shape, or form. We have a sports fan here. Apparently, he's a state of Florida sports fan. He has divorced both baseball teams.
Why?
Well, I don't understand why he's divorced the Rays. He says something about they went political. I don't know what he's talking about. Divorce the Marlins after the stadium deal. Now, once again, if you're a local taxpayer, I could understand that. If you live on the west coast of Florida, I don't know why that stadium deal would bother you. You're not paying for it.
I will say someone texted us for the first time and just says, where are you going to go? I just wanted to tell you guys, I've been using that line all the time lately. And good, you should. Anytime you can use it, you throw it in.
Is it working for you, sir? Is it working for you? And have you used it on anybody who's living in the same house as you?
This person, Dolphin fan, says, I'm a bad husband, but I'm still clinging.
Okay.
And this person here, I divorced the Chicago Blackhawks this year due to their indiscretions. Okay.
So, and this goes along the lines of, and for those that don't know, there was a player 12 years ago who was sexually abused by a member of the organization. And we find out that late in there, during the Stanley Cup playoffs that year, and they happened to win the Cup that year for the first time in 49 years, but during the Stanley Cup run, that there were members of the organization who found out about the allegation, and they didn't do much of anything. And I think I'm being kind, and I've cleaned that up a lot. So that's where the divorce is coming from. That means, by the way, the Blackhawks stuff all goes away. I mean, you're never wearing anything with the Blackhawks again. It means also you don't watch anymore. When you divorce someone, I mean, do you go see them play softball with the company softball team? I mean, no, you divorce them.
No, you're divorced.
Right. Unless you have kids together.
And there are no kids in this relationship, so therefore you have no need to see them anymore.
Exactly. Now, I guess it could become awkward if you decide that you're going to root for a different hockey team and they may, in fact, play your ex. That's awkward.
It is. And that's why, I do like both the Lightning and the Panthers, but my love is the Detroit Red Wings. When they are playing, I am still rooting for my team.
Brian says, I can't divorce my Leafs. I'm 53. I've never seen them win. 55 years since they've won Lord Stanley's Cup. So that's what we're wondering. Johnny Mac says he's divorced the Orioles. Now, that's interesting to me because they actually had a run from 2012 through 2015 where they had 4 straight winning seasons, made the playoffs 3 times. Now they're awful right now, and there's no doubt the owner doesn't seem to have any commitment to being competitive at all. He is cashing the checks the way we've accused the Marlins and at times the Rays of just cashing checks from the Yankees, basically, and Dodgers and
now the Dodgers, right.
And pretty soon the Mets. But, okay, Johnny Mac. All right. Now I know you had like a 12 plus years before that run where you weren't very good, but okay. All right.
And the key word here is divorced.
Right. Done. Dead to me.
I mean, I love a lot of people texting in. No, separated, sleeping in the other bed.
Right. Staying together for the kids. Right. We still walk together into the restaurant, but we don't hold hands anymore. Things like that.
This texter says, for those children who like teams in spite of your dad is what we call bastard children. And he also chimes in, I've been using Where You're Going to Go a lot as well. Have you used it outside of the show?
No.
Because I use Where You're Going to Go all the time.
Now, I've said it to myself just to amuse myself and start chuckling. Like I may be listening to sports radio, something nationally on Sirius, and they're talking about a player and what have you. Like Deebo Samuel. Whenever I have heard on NFL radio them talking about Deebo Samuel, I have joked to myself, where are you going to go?
Fitz, it's helped me with road rage. Because now if I get cut off or someone, doesn't drive properly, I'm already going somewhere. Where are you going to go?
James here in our Twitch chat room. I've divorced the Magic. Haven't watched a game in 4 years. Won't go back until they get a competent front office. But you're already planning your return.
Yeah, that's not a divorce. That's a separation.
Right. Now, someone else in the Twitch chat room said, not me, but a friend of mine divorced the NFL over the Kaepernick thing. Has not watched a game since, I guess 2017 preseason then. So, okay. Hey, that's a divorce.
I have a couple of friends who have divorced professional sports, who used to watch a ton of pro sports, who don't watch the NBA and the NFL anymore, watch college because of in their views, the politicalness of it. To each his own is what I say. I'm the same way as Fam is there.
I announced that I was separating from the NHL for a year 10 years ago. I mean, I announced it.
Yes, you did.
And I lived up to my end of the bargain.
As much as you didn't want to.
No, because my team went to the conference finals that year.
Playoffs started, the Rangers start playing well, and I am just, no, you can't. You're not allowed to watch. We don't want you back this year.
Right. I know. I got it. So, I get it.
And we are two guys who can hold a grudge.
We're actually pretty good at it.
You should hear the commercial break sometimes. We still bring up the grudges. I got to get this out there because we're coming up on a break, David. We actually have had a poll question up since the show started.
You know, it's true. Once again, even when we get it right, we don't get it right.
Thank you.
We get the question, we don't promote it.
Which playoffs are you more interested in? NBA, NHL, or neither? Good news for you, Felipe. NBA is beating neither right now. I mean, it's not beating hockey. It's getting crushed by hockey.
So 3 votes, NBA, NHL, or
neither.
Not watching either. For those of you who are no longer sports fans, you're just football fans. All right, fair enough.
It's at that Mark Miller. It's soon to be at the David Moulton. It's at FL Sports Network and going to be on FloridaSportsNetwork.com probably in the next couple minutes as well.
Doug in our Twitch chat room. I've broken up with the Dolphins a couple times. If they would have traded for Watson, I would have divorced them. Interesting. Miller and Moulton.
Don't divorce us.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh. Walk outside really quickly. See if the stunning cloud formations are still there.
have any money left in my Twin Spires account? That would be awesome. There's nothing like that. That's to me that's like finding a 20 in your pants pocket, David.
Hey, Felipe, I'm serious. You got to stand up. You got to walk around, walk down the hall. I mean, go to the bathroom, throw some water in your face. And come on now.
Yeah, I watched a movie last night, and it was underwhelming. I went to the movie theaters last night.
I'm sorry, what?
I went to the movie theaters last night.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you go see?
New Doctor Strange movie. It was a bit underwhelming. And movie theaters will never have the same magic that they used to. It's sad.
Why is that?
I don't know. They don't make movies like they used to.
You're 21 years old.
Yeah. And they don't make movies like they used to. It's sad. Also, watch as I grab a piece of ice. That's too big.
Wait, my golf buddy just divorced the Red Sox?
The Red Sox? How?
Well, because it's about the TV package.
Oh, that's cold. Ooh.
Well, I
just put a couple pieces of ice down my shirt.
Was the movie good or no?
It was good, action packed, but stupid.
Okay. Well, because Fam Forever there is in the Twitch chat room. He's going to take his family to the movie tonight. So there you go, Fam. It's entertaining but dumb.
It's trippy. It's definitely Sam Raimi, the director's style.
Hey, you know what it is? Is it hokey?
Oh, it's a bit hokey. There's a lot of plot conveniences. It's like, oh, that's convenient.
Remember yesterday you didn't know what hokey was. I'm just saying.
So hokey means like silly.
No.
No.
Hokey means it's tough to believe.
So
like they do a plot.
Gimmicky.
Yeah.
So the Virginia Tech Tough to Believers.
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. What's that about? The Hokies. Because I met a Virginia Tech fan.
No. That's That's something totally different.
Yeah. But I met a Virginia Tech fan and I was like, the Hokies. He's like, oh, you know. I'm like, I do, but I don't. And I didn't have time to ask her.
Can you still work for a company and divorce the corporate office? Yes. Yes, absolutely. We've done it. At least once.
Come on, big bucks, no whammies.
Yeah, but the Virginia Tech Hokies, don't they spell it H-O-O?
No.
It's H-O?
H-O. H-O-O would be hook.
That's what I was saying.
Not
I was
hoke.
like, is it the Hokies?
Only got $5.70 in there.
And hooky is like we're playing hooky from work. And stuff. Okay, we're coming back.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us on this Friday. We'll talk plenty of football next hour. Josh Pate covers college football for 24/7 Sports. Anthony Becht covers the NFL. And he's one of the new coaches of the XFL. We're going to ask him about that. Wonder how much of that. I know the one son, I think, just is graduating high school. This past season was his senior year of football. I wonder how much that has to enter into the equation, although he was a position coach in the AAF, I think, for one of the teams out west. So we'll talk to Anthony Becht about a few things coming up about an hour from now. We're asking, can you and have you divorced yourself from a team? Not separated, not broken up with, but you still love them, care for them, follow them. Divorced, done with. No. We had a relationship. It lasted X amount of time. We no longer have a relationship. And I understand if you were together long enough and you have kids that you still end up occasionally seeing them. Like there was someone in our Twitch chat room who broke up with the Bulls. And had an affair, flirted with, maybe even a small relationship with the Cavs with LeBron. But is now back with the Bulls. See, then you didn't divorce.
That's weird because they're in the same division.
Yeah, I know, but there's not a lot of Chicago-Cleveland rivalry. I mean, think about it. There's none in the NHL. All right, it depends on what baseball team you root for. I mean, you could be a Cubs fan, and then the Guardians there don't give except for the World Series you didn't care about.
Yeah, but you're forgetting one thing I'm assuming this guy was a Michael Jordan fan.
No. And he said it was awkward, but, LeBron, remember, the NBA is about stars. And so he was a LeBron fan, and it lured them in.
This person who's been texting a lot the last couple of days, our Brazilian friend here, says first off, his Brazil soccer team's his favorite. Then it's Heat, Bucs, Panthers, and Nationals. And he said, thank God I didn't choose the Dolphins when I got here from Brazil in 99. Yeah, you made a smart choice. And he said, Jameis's last 2 years, I damn near had enough of the Bucs, but Brady I'm back for another 15 years. Almost there.
I mean, what's cooler, a dolphin or a cool pirate?
And I had someone say that they divorced the Cubs in 1969. And I said, so you did not celebrate the World Series win? He says, I was happy for him. However, no. I, in fact, divorced all Chicago teams that year. Missed the 85 Bears, the 05 White Sox, and all the Jordan years. Wow. And I almost don't know who you're rooting for now.
And the 69
That's 52
Cubs
years ago.
They just broke Cubs fans' hearts. I mean, and I will say you guys didn't give the Mets any credit. I mean, take a look at the Mets record from like August 1st on. It was damn ridiculous. It was like 43-12. But I mean, the 69 Cubs just broke your heart. I guess that's it. He could never love again.
That's a broken man right there.
I know. As a young man, too. That's 53 years ago. Man. And that's like Clint Eastwood on the porch, man. I mean, that is an old grizzled vet right there.
I guarantee you that guy still reads the newspaper every day. And don't talk to him between 6 and 7 because he's watching the news.
I'm guessing he's got a big old lab. He just sits there and he just slowly feeds it. Sits by his feet.
Probably drives a Cadillac.
Rocks him back and forth. Well,
and an older one, like an 04 GTS four-door.
I was thinking about an 06 Oldsmobile, but okay.
I'm with you.
All right. When he bought it, he said, this will be the last car I ever buy.
You can text the show. Text the keyword FSN radio to 21,000 if you've never texted before. Those of you who have know the deal. Once you're in, you're in. We are asking you if you've ever divorced, broken up, separated with your sports teams. But divorced, especially given the fact that the Cincinnati Reds, well, their ownership challenged them to divorce the team.
Where are you going to go?
And since he uttered those words, they've lost 20 of 21 games.
Because here's the thing. Who do you then start rooting for? I mean, listen, I'm a Knicks fan. 20 years, bad basketball. Would have been real easy for me at some point here. But who am I going to root for?
You took off the first period of Rangers Pens because you were watching Ozark with the wife last night.
Right.
And the anthem singer at the Rangers game was amazing. But as they're showing the flag, they show all the Knicks banners because that's where the flag is. And it's got all these Atlantic Division champions. And there's one from this century.
Right.
And then, things from the 90s. And it hit me. And I'm glad I now know I feel better for not texting because I was like, man, that's just hard to. If you're a Knicks fan, that shot is hard to look at.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That said 20 years of bad basketball right there.
But, I mean, who would I root for?
The Brooklyn Nets?
And I think that's what the Nets were hoping they would get disgruntled Knicks fans to start rooting for them. I mean, Spike Lee has sat courtside at a Brooklyn Nets game. He's not a Brooklyn Nets fan. He's a huge basketball fan who's got the wherewithal that he can sit courtside at a Brooklyn Nets game. And so he's got nothing else better to do on a Tuesday night.
We've talked about it before. Who the hell are Nets fans?
Yeah, Mike Vaccaro wrote it in the New York Post last week. He goes, he challenged anyone in the 5 boroughs. Do me a favor. Take a picture of someone who is a Nets fan. Send it to me.
Well, we do the same here with Florida Panther fans, even though they were sold out last night and the crowd looked great and they're all into it. I've been here for over 20 years. And when I see someone with the Panthers gear on, I'm like, wow, look at that.
Well, on this coast, I mean, you got the Lightning. This is a Lightning coast.
Not Collier County. You know, I mean, from
Collier County's where Miami.
Lee County up's Lightning. Collier County over. Collier County's Miami.
Yeah, they're all Dolphins, Marlins, Canes.
Yeah. Because Collier County is Naples.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But we're Tampa fans in the market that we listen to from Lake City right on through Fort Myers. When you start getting south of Fort Myers, they start going to the other.
Like, I'm wondering
teams.
In the Tampa St. Pete area if maybe by chance you grew up a Yankees fan and then the Rays came into being. Like, in theory, I could have been a Devils fan. The Devils came into being in Jersey, I believe I was 16, 17.
Right, like Seth's talked about it.
Right. And I think Seth's 8 years younger than me. So he's just young enough where I was 16, 17, he was 9. So for him, the Devils, that became his team. For me, well, hell, I'd already lost the 79 final of the Canadians, and the Islanders have broken my heart at least twice already. So, I'm emotionally invested, but I could see, if you're in your 40s in Tampa St. Pete, where maybe you were following the Yankees because they have spring training there and all that, but then the Devil Rays show up and you're like, oh, wait, is our team?
See, I have friends that I would consider sports swingers because they grew up in Cincinnati. They're Bengals fans. They moved. He was in the hotel world. They moved to New Orleans, just became Saints fans because they were in the city. And she loves both teams equally. No, one's an AFC, one's an NFC.
It's a lot easier when that's the case, though. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it's also easier. Think about it. This is a woman who's a little bit older than you. Wow. So for her Bengals and Saints fandom, they've been awful for most of it. So it's like, let's pick 2 bad teams and hopefully one of them can win for us.
Yeah, for Tampa fans, it's inconvenient because not only are they both in the AL, but they're both in the same division.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, to me, then, there's no going back. At some point, you pick one. And then can you divorce it? Has anybody out there truly divorced the team?
And who have you divorced? And have you remarried? Is the bigger question.
Right.
Because it's one thing to say, I'm done with this team. It's another to say, I'm done with this team, and now I'm rooting for this team.
Right. You get emotionally involved with someone else, and then you remarry.
And it takes a lot to divorce a team, which is why I think it says a lot about the person that divorces the team, depending on the reason.
And think about if you're from, the upper Midwest. If you're from Minnesota, those are your teams. I mean, maybe you divorced the North Stars for the Wild.
Well, and we had Robes in our Twitch chat room who said, hey, they divorced me. They left me. Okay. And I have not rooted for them for 1 second since they moved to Texas. And then I re-entered a relationship with the Wild.
Yeah, but they left you.
They definitely left you. Like if you're a Raiders fan living in the Bay Area and they've left you a few times. I mean, they left you for LA twice, I think. And now they've left you. I mean, do you remain a fan? I mean, or do you say, well, I got to divorce myself from them, and then who are you going to root for? The Niners?
Texter here, divorced the Bucs when they drafted Jameis. Happily remarried to the Jags.
Wow.
Must be a Gators fan.
Well, what's interesting, though, is that he didn't separate from the Bucs. and come back when Brady became their quarterback. I mean, that's interesting to me because most people like Tom Brady.
Right.
It's also really easy to be a bandwagon nowadays.
Well, but
when you're younger, but another 20 years, you have your teams. You get to your 30s. You've had a lifetime with that team.
Felipe, believe it or not, you wait 10 more years, you're in. It's over. It's done.
I know, but there's still people out there that are bandwagons, and
Well,
it pisses me off.
There's exceptions to every rule, but
those aren't diehard sports fans for the
Yes.
most part. Those are people that move to a city, a team gets good. I lived in Atlanta when the Braves got good. When the Sid Bream, Braves win. And I waited tables and interned for a hockey team. All of a sudden, these waiters and waitresses who had no interest in baseball. Well, the Braves are good. It was a really cool scene. And the whole town became a Braves fan that summer. People who were not sports fans became Braves fans because they had a magical summer. That's the bandwagon fan. That happens in any big city.
No, but I think that the bandwagon fan, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a city. You can just
but
be
here's
anywhere.
the thing. You're saying if somebody switches, they're a bandwagon fan. No, they could be a fan for 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, there are people who are really bent out of shape about what the Reds are doing. They've been Reds fans their whole lives. And their guy challenged them, where are you going to go? And they're like, well, you know what? I'm going to sit here in my chair and watch you guys lose 20 or your next 21. And I'm thinking about it. You took me for granted. You thought I'd never leave you. You know what? Maybe you're right. But I'll tell you what, right now, I'm thinking about it.
And a team can suck. A team can be bad. It can do all kinds of things and still keep its fan base. But when an owner flat out challenged a fan, we keep bringing this up because it's never happened in our careers where an owner's challenged a fan base to say, you really want to know the truth? We'll move the damn team. How do you like that? So shut up, sit down, get your ass to the ballpark and root for the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, it's essentially what the man said.
Niners fan, by the way, or no, excuse me, Raiders fan in the Twitch chat room said, yeah, you can't even suggest rooting for the Niners. I'm about ready to come through the screen and fight you right now.
Is it really that bad?
They hate each other. The two sides of the bay hate each other.
Damn.
This isn't Tampa St. Pete where they find the other annoying and the traffic is tough to deal with. No. The two sides of hate each other. Hate each other. That's why that 89 World Series was a huge deal, known as the Earthquake Series. But
before the earthquake.
Yeah. Fan bases hate each other.
That's awesome.
Now, this gentleman, and I think we have a lot of this, Mark, in Florida. I was a Reds fan and then moved down here. And in the early 90s, the Marlins were created. And so I switched from, being fans of teams in the Cincinnati, Pittsburgh area. And now all my teams are down here. Oh, okay. All right. I get that.
The Orioles used to play spring training, North Miami. My dad was a huge Orioles fan. Then the Marlins were created.
There you go. That's right. They were in West Palm forever.
And I have a lot of friends who are born here that were Braves fans that switched some of their loyalty to the Marlins. Some didn't because that's who they watched growing up.
So text us, follow us in the Twitch chat room. Let us know. Have you divorced a team? Have you come close? Are you thinking about it now? Miller and Moulton. Josh Pate, college football. Bit of a mess. Can we clean it up?
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, the Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I'll say this, Seminoles. Yes, after you won the 97 World Series, that was a blatant, obvious sell-off. I mean, dismantled it while they were still cleaning the champagne out of the carpet. But you won it in 03. They kept that team together largely in 04 and 05. I mean, the Marlins in mid-September of both years were right there for a wild card. Both those teams, I believe, had winning seasons. They won in like the mid-'80s in terms of games.
Let's see. They kept Cabrera.
They kept Delgado at first.
Did they keep? Well, Derek Lee played first.
Well, I thought the one year they had Carlos Delgado.
They had Delgado, but in that World Series team,
Didn't they still have Cliff Floyd?
No, Cliff Floyd was 97.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Did they still have Beckett?
Pudge was just a one-year thing.
That was weird. Yeah.
Pudge was just an 03 hired gun. But, you know, they still kept Beckett. They kept Burnett. They had Dontrell.
Yeah.
Brad Penny, I believe. I mean, they kept the rotation was kept together. They didn't sell off Beckett, I think, till 06.
Yeah, for the most part. Mike Redmond, Luis Castillo.
They kept Cabrera until 06, right, Mark?
Yeah. Juan Pierre, Alex Gonzalez.
That sounds about right.
You know, the guts of that team, 90% of that team stayed together in 04 and 05.
Carl Pavano.
They won, but they didn't win.
Yeah, but
they didn't get back to the playoffs, and they were losing money, and so then it was another great sell-off.
They went 83 and 79 and 04.
Okay, what about 85?
85?
I'm sorry, 05.
83 and 79.
Yeah.
Identical seasons.
They were in it, though, in September for the wild card both years.
Yeah, but, I mean, I get it's 2 full seasons, but why give up?
Well, because financially they were hemorrhaging money. Remember, they're playing in the football stadium. No one's going. Not that anyone's ever gone.
So true. No one ever went. Because I went, and I know that no one would ever go. Mike Lowell, man.
Right. They kept him, and then they sold him to the Red Sox. But I mean, they kept that group together for 2 more years.
Man, I hated seeing Alex Gonzalez, Mike Lowell, and Josh Beckett go to the Red Sox and all win World Series with them. Like, literally 4 years after they won it with us. And then Miguel win a freaking MVP, Triple Crown on the Tigers. I mean, most recently, Christian Yelich winning MVP the season after he left us. Or we traded him away.
But, like, I could have become a Nets fan if you really think about it. The Nets moved to New Jersey.
I think we got Lewis Brinson from that deal for Yelich. Oh, yeah.
God, I love where you're going to go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final hour of Miller and Moulton for those of you in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. Halfway home if you're in the 239. Miller and Moulton, the Friday edition here on the Florida Sports Network, the Florida Sports Network. He may be the best at covering the sport in the business right now. At least that's what we feel. Josh Pate, 24/7 Sports, host of the Late Kick podcast, CBS Sports HQ. Follow Josh on Twitter at Late Kick Josh, Late Kick Josh. Josh, thanks for agreeing to come back. It's David and Mark. How are you?
I'm good. It's Friday. Got a lot of driving to do today, but man, it could be Monday. So I'll take this every single day of the week.
Hey, I'm just curious. We're having a little fun on our show today. It's kind of a little bit of a theme, but with what the Reds COO did there, saying where you're going to go a few weeks ago, they've lost 20 of 21 cents, and we're wondering if the Reds fan's going to divorce them. Have you ever left one of your teams? Have you ever switched allegiance from a team that you rooted for to someone else? Have you divorced a team?
Oh boy. Off the top of my head, I don't think so. I remember, so I grew up an Atlanta Braves fan, and they've always got the controversy of, are they going to change themes of the team? They've never changed the name of the Atlanta Braves. And I always wondered if they did it. Like if Major League Baseball came in and did it, that would be different. But if the team voluntarily succumbed to pressure, I always wondered how I would handle that, especially when I was a kid. But no, like to this point, I've been fortunate. So I'm not saying it'll never happen, but it would take extreme circumstances.
Right. Like it was just yesterday when you said, hey, if the Red River Shootout ever moves, like there's talk of moving it to, Jerry's World, you said, yeah, that rivalry's done to me if they do that. So I understand, like it basically, if what happened with the Redskins, if the Braves become the Commanders,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right.
I think that's what it would take. I'm trying to think what else could happen. But yeah, college football now, if they move that game from the Cotton Bowl, because I got to experience it there for the first time last year. So I thought people had just always been overhyping that game. They weren't. It's really as legitimate as they say it is. And it's one of the last places that you get to experience that 50-50 crowd split. You get it with Georgia, Florida. You get it with Texas OU. You don't get that many other places. And everyone loves it there. There are just a few folks out there with a deep pockets about them that say, let's move it over here where it's more comfortable, where we got more chair bags, where we got more luxury suites. So I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, it's funny, all those Longhorn boosters with all that money, they've really done well with that athletic department in the last 10 years, throwing it around, haven't they? Josh Pate, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports HQ. Follow him on Twitter, Late Kick Josh, Late Kick Josh. All right, with everything that's going on, it's messy. We all knew it was going to be messy. Can you clean NIL up? Or is that always going to be the mess, and the transfer portal is actually something that we can bring under control. Is there a solution to this NIL madness?
Yeah, I hate what I'm about to say, but it does involve Congress. At this point, I don't think there's a way around that. If you can, of course, do the revisionist history thing, then you either would have told NCAA officials 20 years ago, hey, you better start at least meeting players, not even in the middle, but just go 20% for them. Just give them a little bit more than what they get now, which is nothing, to hopefully circumvent what's coming in the future. Or you would have told them 20 years ago, you need to go lobby your tail off in Washington, D.C. for antitrust exemption. And they never got it. And they probably could have gotten it back then. They didn't get it. And that's why you're reading these headlines about Greg Sankey and George Klykoff, the Pac-12 and SEC commissioners, respectively, going to Washington to lobby Congress, because that's what they have realized. They understand the NCAA could pass any rule it wants to, but unlike generations past, these days, people just fight the NCAA legally, and it didn't always happen that way. It used to be if an edict was passed down from on high in Indianapolis, everyone just went with it. And all of a sudden, people started challenging it in court, and they end up being the only entity that gets a 9-0 SCOTUS decision slammed in their face, which I thought was impossible in today's age, but it wasn't. If they can get themselves antitrust exemption, then you got a ball game again, because then the NCAA can pass laws that really the rest of the world doesn't have to go by, or it wouldn't work in the rest of the world. Outside of that, I don't know that there's anything within their power alone that they can do to police the whole toothpaste out of the tube scenario that has existed now.
All right. And I, I'm with you on the toothpaste out of the tube, but the one part of this, the pay for play, was supposed to not be legal, if you will. And it's obvious that there are deals being made before a kid signs on campus. Is there any legitimacy to the NCAA thinking they can sanction schools and sanction schools retroactively for pay for play type situations?
If you're just getting my honest opinion, no. But I hope I'm wrong, because I don't like where we are. I'm certainly not one of these folks beating the drum of, well, this is where the sport is, deal with it. No, I don't like that at all. But at the same time, we go back to what we just said. It's one thing for them to try. It's one thing for them to write a rule and then, stamp it into motion, and then come to you if you're Nebraska or West Virginia and say, we know you did this, we're coming down on you. Well, you push back legally. That legal pushback stuff, by the way, really kind of got going in 2010 when Auburn and Cam Newton, when they were under investigation. That's the first really behind-the-scenes, high-profile example of a university saying, forget that. We're not just accepting this from you. And they went up to Birmingham and hired Lightfoot and Franklin, and they fought. It wasn't public, but they fought behind the scenes, and they, as a result, escaped what could have been major sanctions for all we know. And that's been the trend for universities from that point forward. That's why you hadn't seen a ton of major sanctions handed down, the likes of which you used to see over the prior decades. And with this, I don't have any reason to believe it would be any different. I just think the legal battles would be out in the open for all of us to see at that point.
Josh Pate, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports HQ, host of Late Kick Live and also the Late Kick podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Late Kick Josh. We joked last week when Mark Emmert said, hey, I'm retiring in a year plus unless you can find somebody to take my job sooner. And we joked, Josh, that if you were interviewing for the job, what is it that you would say that you could do? Like, we wonder if the president of the NCAA is now nothing more than an event planner.
It's a really good way to put it, because I do agree with you. I think in the modern age and moving forward, that role is mainly a coordinator, a planner, and a marketer. I think that's what their main job would do. Their main job would be fundraising too. So I guess that's a fourth bullet point on the resume there. And that's how I would interview. But as for the actual power structure in college sports, the reason I didn't really pay much attention to that headline, it happened about 2 hours before we were going to go on air. I didn't even do a segment on it on the show that night. is because I view that role as largely irrelevant to what's happening around us. The things we care about are not going to be decided or impacted by who the president of the NCAA is. It'll be much more decided by who the conference commissioner of the ACC or the Big 12 or the SEC is, and not necessarily in that order. And the entities that run this sport and have been for a while are conference commissioners and television executives. Everyone knows that behind the scenes, and it may not even be in that particular order the way I listed them there. Those are the entities that, if the sport's going to be navigated back into calmer waters, have to do it. TV executives and conference commissioners. Those are the ones who have the power. That's not always the ones that are cited because that's a relatively new concept, but it's conference commissioners, it's TV executives. And so if I'm up there interviewing for NCAA president, I guess I'm also laying out a plan as to how I can cede as much control to those folks and help them and guide them along as possible, because those are the ones with the actual weight in the room.
Well, do you think there's at any point that they can even come to any conclusion together? Because right now, Sankey's controlling the sport. But when the new Big Ten television deal comes, there's going to be a canyon between what the SEC and the Big Ten are getting and everyone else. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense if you're the Big Ten or the SEC to want to play ball with the rest of the conferences, does it?
That's the $1 million problem. I guess it could be $1 billion problem.
I think you're right.
You've got conflicting ideologies, I guess. The way I put it is, you have to have some collectivism here. If the sport as we know it is going to sustain itself long term, you have to have some collectivism. And that is totally antithetical to what the role of a conference commissioner technically is. If I'm Greg Sankey in the SEC, I wake up every morning, look in the mirror and say, I got to go to battle today for who? For 14 member institutions, for that SEC logo. That's my job. And we have seen, most recently with that college football playoff debate, we have seen that they couldn't even get in the same room and get on the same page remotely with that. So your question is valid. Well, how are we going to decide that crew is capable of saving the sport if they can't even decide on a bracket? Well, you've got to change your way of thinking is how it has to happen. They've got to look at things and say, it's no use to build the fanciest neighborhood in town if the town the neighborhood's in burns down around it. The property values just go to you-know-what. So you could either sit there and pride yourself and beat your chest on how great your conference is as the rest of the sport that it participates in kind of erodes away, or you can understand, in order for my brand and my neighborhood here to maximize its value, I need this city operating at peak efficiency. And if that means putting my neighborhood on hold to make sure this city is at its best, then I got to do it in the SEC and the Big Ten, et cetera. That is the mentality that should exist. I don't know that it does exist right now, and that needs to change.
Josh, 30 seconds. Are you getting any pushback from your audience about just this seemingly unseemliness of college football right now? That all this cash, it's out in the open, these hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $1 million deals. Is your fan base telling you this is unseemly?
Yes. Most of them, I would say a super majority of them don't like it. There's a small sliver that tries to sound intellectually superior to the room, and they say, oh, it's always happened this way. Now it's just out in the open. I can assure your listeners down there, what's happening right now did not always happen. There's some stuff happening right now that's very unprecedented in college football.
Josh, thanks for doing this again. We really appreciate it. Continued success.
I appreciate you having me on.
24/7 Sports, CBS Sports HQ. He's Josh Pate, Late Kick Live, the Late Kick Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Late Kick Josh.
Event planner.
Yeah, that's what it is. And as he said, add fundraiser to it. Miller and Moulton.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Peterson, I don't know who that is, but host of Vison's Live, the Greg Peterson Experience, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, he just said, and I know he was talking about, because we had it on, he was talking about Keyshawn and
right.
A national radio show just spent the first 25 minutes of the show asking if Baker Mayfield is a distraction. There's NBA, NHL, playoff action, MLB stories, golf, etc. But instead, the lead is a below-average QB in Cleveland. People wonder why sports talk radio is dying. And he just responded. But I'm like, I wanted to laugh going, hey, for the record, Greg, we opened with this, this, and this. But we're just a regional show.
Well, Donkey, that's right. If you're a college football fan or a college sports fan, where are you going to go? Now, I guess you could root for lower levels. Could become an fan of an FCS team. I'm going to throw out something here, which I'm going to combine one sport with another.
Okay. And Paul, we're not talking about him. It was a national show, just commenting on someone who covers the business. We've not mentioned Baker Mayfield on this show.
2 weeks.
No, I almost did with Pat yesterday, and I didn't ask him the question. Because I am fascinated with now, with the suspension of Watson coming, why wouldn't you just keep him? He's not a distraction. National shows are lazy.
Staggeringly so.
And there were no NBA games last night, so they have no NBA to talk about, and they won't talk hockey, obviously. And they're not going to talk Sergio Garcia.
Which is interesting that ESPN won't talk hockey now that they're back in the hockey business. But also, there's nobody on that morning show that's a fan of hockey.
Right.
So.
I will say, I mean, how about the whole Dolphins team and, a bunch of Dolphins in the one suite last night, too? And then Aaron Judge was
Rizzo and who else was with them? Yeah, 3 of them. They all chugged beers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great for hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wondered if I'm the hockey team, I'm giving that suite to the Dolphins. I hope to God I'm calling them going, hey, do you guys want to come? We got a suite for you. We're going to put you on TV. We really would like you here tonight.
Absolutely.
That to me is good calculated marketing. That was me with the Everblades, making sure that Stan and Haney always had, or that Haney or Stan had seats in the front row whenever he wanted them.
Felipe, since the Heat are up 2-0, all right, are you going to be okay kind of sort of not watching tonight? Remember we talked about this earlier.
Yeah, and Embiid's not playing, so.
It looks like he's not playing, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to be able to pay attention to your family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we talked about it yesterday. The champions, they all get breaks. It's a nice, chill, relaxation.
Where are you going to go?
To the championship. That's where we're going to go.
At least the Eastern Conference Finals.
I don't think you understand. Like, the Miami Heat are winning the NBA Finals this year. I've never been more confident about this. I wrote it on a wall in August. That wall is magical. Oh, that's a fight. Yeah, that's a fight.
I mean,
oh, what happened to him?
It should have been a penalty on the goaltender. He stuck his leg out. They called it the other way. He stuck his leg out.
Yeah, he kind of did.
He stuck his leg out.
Yeah. He was asking for it.
Oh, what was business comments? He hit the goal. He goes, hey, hit the goal. Gloves down, throwing punches, something like that. And he looks, and he was looking at Gretzky. And Gretzky's just looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about?
I did it once.
So the Blades next series, is it a semifinal?
They're in the second round.
Okay.
Of 4. They play 4 rounds also.
So they're in the conference semis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten out of their division yet. That's how they do.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Anthony Becht to join us in a little more than 15 minutes. Talk some pro football of various kinds, since he was named one of the head coaches in the XFL, which won't start up for another year. Curious what it is you do between now and then. One of the questions we will ask Anthony in a bit. All right. Listen, you put up with a lot with me, so I'm going to kind of grab something, and this could take 30 seconds. So, you know how we've talked a lot about the PGA Tour and the Saudi Tour,
right?
And is the PGA Tour really going to draw the line in the sand and essentially fire these guys and ban them? If you're the NCAA going forward, could you, if you're the incoming president, this talk in the next 10 years that the 40, 50, maybe all 75 of the Power 5 schools, if you will, are going to take their ball, break away. They're just going to do their thing. They're even going to leave the group of 5 behind. But they want in on the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's already out there.
This is a football-only exodus. This
they-
has nothing to do with any of the other championships in any of the other sports.
So they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes. Who doesn't? What would be the point of having cake there if you couldn't eat it?
All right. What I'm wondering is, if you are the NCAA president in 8 to 10, 12 years' time,
let's see where you're going to go here.
Can you say, just telling you, if you do this, you're ineligible in 23 other sports? Just so you know. All of them. But definitely March Madness, by the way. Out. We'll do it without you. And all the other sports, by the way. All of them. You're either in or you're out.
In theory, could you? Of course you could. No, but what I don't know is, because of here's the area that I'm just unsure of. When the split happened with football,
right? Mid-80s, 86.
Do they even have the ability to do this?
Well, here's what it would come down to. The TV networks. I mean, that's what that was all about. That was about that was about getting on national television more than what you were, which then also led to national TV money and all that. So now here we are 35 years later. Give it 10 more years when we think that you know what's going to hit the road. So if you're the NCAA, do you think you can get CBS, Turner, whoever the hell else, in which, hey, we're going to put championships together? Yeah, I know, but you're going to put championships together without basically the SEC and the Big Ten and about 8 other schools Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. They opted out. They joined the Saudi league. I don't know what to tell you.
They're not worth anything at this point then to the television. I mean, it would be a very big calculated risk, because if they just said, then we're going to have our own tournament with our teams, which one are the networks buying? They're buying the one with Duke and Kentucky.
Well, I understand, but I mean, remember, the big one's the madness. You got 360 schools that play Division I basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking out 50 of. Now, remember, Duke and Carolina, in theory, would be. I don't know if Duke and Carolina go. Carolina may, Duke may not.
Carolina would go for sure. Kentucky would go for sure.
Well, yeah, Kentucky's in the SEC.
No. But I'm just saying of the blue blood basketball schools, I think those go.
UCLA may not be invited, by the way, amongst the 50 schools. USC would.
I think UCLA would too.
I don't know about that for football.
Yes.
Remember, they're trying to make this club staggeringly exclusive. They're going to make hard calls on colleges.
It's going to be in the 40 to. It's going to be 50 colleges.
Okay. Well, the SEC's got 16. The Big Ten's got 14. There's 30. There's only room for 20 more. You start going through them, you start realizing how close to the cut line UCLA is.
I think UCLA makes it, and I don't think it's close, just
okay.
for the record.
Fine.
But Kansas, when we're talking hoop, Kansas is one that might not make it.
But here's the other part of it. I mean, these schools don't want to be putting on tournaments. They don't want to hire a bunch of event planners. They don't want to do this. They like the fact that the NCAA does this in all these other sports, that they deal with the seedings and the logistics and all that. Greg Sankey doesn't want to do this. I don't have time for this. Do you know how many people I got to hire to do this? I don't want to do this. Plus, I got to negotiate all these TV deals.
He's really good at that, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think that would bother him as much as you think.
But I'm just wondering, could the NCAA play the role of the PGA Tour? Granted, from a much weaker position than the PGA Tour is in right now, dealing with its players and possibly leaving for the Saudi Tour. But is that the only chance for the NCAA to go, just so you know, okay, this stuff that you guys are floating out here right now, you're dead to us. You do know that. We will draw the line in the sand. We will go to war. There's enough networks out there that want live programming. Trust us. The streaming services, they will buy our product. All of them. They pay more than the networks, by the way, because they got more money.
But are they going to pay anything for a tournament without the good teams in it? The other sports don't matter because there's no money in any of them. There's money in one event for the NCAA, March Madness.
Yeah, there are others that hold their own. Softball holds their own.
It holds their own,
right.
But does not make them any money.
Not really.
Part of me is thinking, what if then, as a counter, Sankey and the school said, that's great. You do that. We're going to have an invitational basketball tournament, and we're just going to invite all the schools that we normally would anyhow. And we're going to control it. And we're going to take the contract. And we're going to run it.
No. Listen, I know.
It's a high-stakes game of poker.
Well, yeah, no, it's it. It's survival. It's the USFL suing the NFL in court. We're either going to thrive after this court settlement or we're done.
And I'd vote for them to be done. I think the big boys would take them out.
Okay. I think so, too. But I wonder, because remember, college presidents are very conservative. All right. They may be liberal socially and what have you, but in terms of, this is business. This is big business. All right. College presidents may be inclined to, I kind of like being under this umbrella and student athletes and all that sort of thing. I know what Mr. Athletic Director, and I know the 8 boosters. I know what you all want. I don't want that.
And the other side of it is a lot of these college presidents all worked their way through the system. Were college presidents at a lower level before that and wouldn't want to upset. I don't think it would come to this, but I think if it did, I think ultimately the Power Five would take their ball, go find their own game, and figure out a way to incorporate the basketball thing and just end the NCAA.
I'll tell you what. Let's just say the number's 48. You've got 30. When Oklahoma and Texas joined the SEC, you got 16 in that league, 14 in the Big Ten. you want to just do a little mental gymnastics, figure out who the other 18 are going to be. And you'll be surprised who gets left out. You'll be surprised.
And for those of you saying, how's Vandy going to make it? Well, the SEC's not going to abandon their own.
We don't think so.
Will not abandon their own.
We don't think so. We think right now it's in the charter and the bylaws of the conference. We don't see a way out without literally having to vote to change their own charter. And obviously then everybody would know what's going on. I mean, think about half the schools in the SEC. They'd be like, well, hell, it could be us one day. So I don't think it'd ever pass. That's why, to me, those 30 all go as a group.
I got to find 18 more?
And only 18 more.
All right.
And remember, Notre Dame's one of them. So you got 17.
You might want BYU because they've got a lot of money, too. And their own network.
Just saying, when you start going through this gets really exclusive. I'm wondering if that's the only play the NCAA has. Miller and Moulton. Anthony Becht. Talk plenty of pro football of various kinds. Next, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No. You're doing it for one sport.
Right. Because in Arizona wouldn't.
Well, now you're flipping all over. I mean, you haven't finished on the Big 12 yet.
I don't know if a Big 12 school goes.
Okay.
I'm going to put UCF. I'm going to put BYU. We got 8 spots left in a lot of schools.
You haven't put Kansas in.
I know.
You haven't put anybody from the AAC in or any of the other conferences.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are going.
Okay, just fine.
You know, I will write Boise down here at 19.
You know, Gonzaga, by the way. You know,
didn't even have football.
I understand. Mark is doing the list right now. See, Guillermo, Rutgers and Maryland are not out. I'm telling you, the Big Ten and the SEC charters, there's no way. Because think about it. The schools in the conference know where they are in the conference. I mean, you can draw a line in the middle of the SEC for the haves and the have-nots. Well, the have-nots are never going to vote to allow the SEC to kick out other have-nots because it could be them one day. Same in the Big Ten. No, Canada Relief. We're not naming teams wanting out of the NCAA. We're naming teams that if there's going to be a breakaway, 48 schools, who will the 48 be? And it's not that they want out of the NCAA. They want out of sharing it with everyone else in Division I. Like, you'll have Pac-12 schools that don't want anything to do with other Pac-12 schools and Big 12 schools and ACC schools.
Leave me alone. I'm busy.
Mark's got 3 or 4 open spots left. You know what the real problem looks like? Like, Mark filled out the first 10. Fine. I think this would be easier if you made the list 40 than 48.
All right. And I'm not sure about something. I mean, here are schools right now that are not in my world that I've got to figure out. Boston College, Louisville, Syracuse, Duke, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Virginia.
What about Va-Tech?
Va-Tech. Sorry, I didn't even name them. That's just in the ACC.
I mean,
I don't have either Arizona school in right now.
You put both SoCal schools in, right?
Yeah, I did. I put Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Stanford and Washington.
Okay, so you go Stanford, but not Cal. You go Washington, but not Washington State.
These are the decisions that are going to be made, too.
Right. I know.
Are you going to go Arizona State, not Arizona? Like in Stanford, would they want to go? But I wrote Kansas and Oklahoma State down, but I don't know.
Yeah, Guillermo, there's going to be a coup. There's going to be 40 to 50 schools in 10 to 12 years when this next set of TV contracts and the next playoff deal, when those contracts expire in the early 2030s, there is going to be a break. I mean, if the schools are, the AD of Notre Dame said last week, there's going to be a break.
And I've got BYU there. Put it this way. I put Kansas and Oklahoma State in there, and I'm not sure about that. I think UCF and BYU get in this before Kansas and Oklahoma State.
Wolfpack Glenn, what about ECU? That's hysterical. And Mark has sent a lot of money to that school.
I just sent another $2,400 yesterday. Last payment to those bastards.
See, DC, it's not cross-reference it with enrollment. It's cross-reference it with how much college football weight do you have?
And that's it.
And or basketball.
And I don't know if that matters.
And or basketball, because in theory, if you're going to war over a TV contract for March Madness.
Let's go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. We're thrilled to get him on the show about 3 weeks after the big announcement that he will be one of the head coaches in the XFL. He's Anthony Becht, longtime friend of the show. Covers the Bucs and the Jets in the preseason and during the season. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Becht, B-E-C-H-T. Anthony, it's David and Mark. Once again, congratulations. How are you?
Hey, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely fired up, excited, blessed to have the opportunity to do something, quite frankly, that has been on my kind of bucket list here for really since I was playing as a player and was brought in, to help mold and develop tight end rooms when I was a veteran in the league and trying to bring young players along. I saw something there that just stuck with me, and the timing was right for me. My son is in college, and my daughter will be a senior, and just kind of worked my way up to this point. So thank you. We're really excited about it.
All right. When the XFL was selling you on this job, I mean, we all know spring football has had a rough go of it the last couple of times. What was it about this league, or was there something about this league and their pitch that makes you think they've got the methodology right to make spring football work?
Well, it's me sell myself to the league and why I felt like, the league was so important to players. When the Rock and Danny Garcia and Redbird Capital got this thing going, April of, I guess, August of 2020 on bankruptcy, I basically put into effect a 20-month plan to become the head coach and really worked as if I was the head coach before the league even had any idea what they were doing. I felt like, being a part of the AAF when I was with San Diego team with Mike Martz, another spring league that was in the spring of 19, I really, 55 young players that were hungry to figure out the answers to why or how they could get to the next level. And, they were fully immersed in it. They worked hard. And there was a lot of gratification in the fact that, for instance, my tight end room that I had, 3 guys all got invited to NFL training camps. And that to me there was nothing better than that, to give a player a chance, to the tools to allow them to take the next step. And, I just felt like this league was needed. And then you kind of maybe flip it back to your original question of how it was maybe how they sold me. Well, I was already sold because, this is with ownership at the top, you're only as good as your leadership, with the investment in the vision. And also the synergy with the NFL. I've been working with the NFL, not obviously as a player, but after the fact, I've been with the NFL Legends community and the trust, serving guys, converting from the league into retirement and transitioning them for the last 8 years. And the fact that they want to build the synergy with the NFL through innovation, technologies, officials, things, and see what that grows in. That's great. Don't go against the NFL. Be a part of the solution to help with developing players and giving players a chance. So it really was intriguing. You're right. These leagues do not necessarily have a good track record, but I think it all comes down to managing the business side. And these are people that care, that understand the value of a dollar and understand how these things can work and could, quite frankly, can stomach a check, moving forward when those times become difficult, to make it a success. So really excited about it. And I think this is the league, this is the group, this is the ownership, and this is the solution to a little bit longer stretch than we've seen in some of these other leagues.
Anthony Becht, 12 years in the NFL, going to be a head coach in the XFL next year. Follow him on Twitter, Anthony_Becht, BECHT. Anthony, when you were playing, and like we mentioned, you had a 12-year career, you were a first-round pick. When you were playing, the whole adage, I'll get another one look just like you. How many people did you think could do your job then? And now that you've been in coaching, do you think there are more people who could do your job? Is the talent pool a generation later deeper?
Well, yeah, that's always an interesting point, because as a player, they're always trying to bring in the next guy to take your job. Right. I think the one thing that separated me, during my time is, I kind of could do everything at the tight end position. And I may not have been superior at any particular one, but, obviously blocking became a forte of mine around year 5 or 6, where I just basically took that and said, nobody can do it. My speed and my route running are, they're not obviously going to continue to peak. How can I separate myself and become, valuable to football team and extend my career? And blocking was the key. And I just felt like, during my stretch run, nobody did it better. And, it was just an attitude, an adjustment, a change in my game. And as I kind of got older into the league and you understand the techniques of what you're trying to do, it became something that kept me around. It could have probably kept me around longer in the right scenario and the right team for that skill set. But and then Now, would that be something? I really do believe there's value in the complete tight end. I really believe that the league does want the complete tight end. There's obviously a lot of tight ends that come into the league that are valuable assets at the receiving position, catching the football, running routes. But you can also say that the competition for that is so deep because everybody seems to be honing into that skill set. And I get it. That's going to make you maybe the potential of making you one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. But we all know that, there's only about 10 guys or less that can actually do that skill set at the highest level. So how do you carry yourself throughout your career and make it extend and make some of those long-term dollars as you become more of a complete guy? And I think guys that do that and figure that out can play a long time in the league. You can still play a long time in the league catching the football, but you better be elite at it for a long time. So I think it still holds its ground even now. For a guy like me to come in, I think, I weighed 270 at the combine, 6'5" and 3/4, 270. We haven't seen a tight end. I didn't see anybody in this class over 255, and I haven't seen anybody in upper 60s in the last 5 or 6 years. So it still becomes an unprecedented situation. Now, the one thing, I was talking about this yesterday on the airwaves on another radio station, is like, did you ever think about converting to tackle? That was a serious option for me in Tampa in my 6th year. But not ownership, but the heads to be GMs didn't really buy into committing to something like that. But I thought for sure there's absolute way that I could convert and be that guy. But that's probably something going back that I maybe wish I could have did. But playing the length of time that I did at the tight end, very thankful for it.
All right, let's talk a little draft. You work with both the Jets and the Bucs, and both had really good drafts. The Jets may have had the best draft they've had in a generation. When you look at what the Jets did, how just impressed were you with the overall work, not just on day one, but to come back and get Hall on day two, get a tight end a little bit later on day two as well? The Jets had a complete draft.
Yeah, they killed it. You could say they've got the best 4 players at their respective positions in college football. It's kind of unprecedented when you think about it. Obviously all on paper, but these guys are like ballers in college. You watch them, and some people have these guys, the best of what they did. And you had the tight end from Ohio State, who I think has a high ceiling because he had to play with guys like Olave and Garrett Wilson on his football team. So it limited his ability to do some things. But really impressive haul. You're talking about a team right now in the last 2 years with 20-ish draft picks. A bunch of them are playing. They killed it last year. Waiting, really the one point is waiting for their quarterback to take the next step. And I truly believe the weapons they put around him, the defense is extremely better. They get back Carl Lawson. There's no reason, if all these guys are healthy and on the field and things work out the way they should, that this team should be scratching close to that 500 mark this next year. I really believe that. And I've been covering the team for a long time. Never been more excited about what they could have on the field. They're young. They're, they got some great character players and some great characters as well, so it's kind of built in really good, and they're young and they don't have to worry about overpaying anybody the next year or two. So it's got to come together. I think that there's a chance here that this team could really start cooking and really, quite frankly, get into a division that's extremely tough now. The Patriots ruled it for so long, but the Bills have been so dominant the last couple of years. Miami's made some key moves. They're holding their breath for their quarterback. So which quarterback will kind of take that step to make their team great? Zach Wilson has it all in front of him to really take charge and ownership of this football team and hopefully guide them to some winning seasons finally for the Jets fans.
Well, what was your first impression of Zach Wilson? Because, 12 years in the league, you played with the accomplished veterans and you played with a couple of young guys who were going to be the next guy. So I'm just curious, what was your first year impression of Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I think that he did some good things on the field that led you to believe that he's got a chance to be a good player. He's got to do more. He's got to improve in a lot of easy areas. I didn't think there was any area that I felt like, it's going to take a while to do it. The ball placement, just the understanding of the system. Sometimes I watch and listen to how Zach prepared and how Zach kind of went about his business. He maybe overemphasized too many things, too many questions about the game in itself, when actually if you just stick to your rules, your kind of your base stuff, and okay, just read one. Is it there pre-snap? Is it not? Okay, no, I get my eyes off. Go to two. Two's there. All of a sudden, okay, safety rolls down. He's not there. Where's my other option? Get to it. And if it's not there, use the God-given talent that you have, movement, extending plays to make a play, if not run the football. If he just keeps it in that world and grows in that way, I think he'll be a lot player. I think he thought too much about the process instead of actually thinking quickly, reacting to the process. And I think that's something that hopefully that'll switch on next year. I know they're working hard, talking to their offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. These are things that, listen, just go out there and play ball, trust what we're trying to do. And now he has more weapons, more pieces, and more things around him to help him be more successful.
What is it that makes him get to that next level then? I mean,
It's
if they're easy fixes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a mental, it's that it factor, okay? It's that part of the mind that can overcome negative issues, negative thoughts, and just go out there and just every series you're just dialed in. And honestly, it's not for everybody, man. That's the one piece of the puzzle for the quarterback position that obviously separates you. We see guys like Joe Burrow and some of these other players, these young guys that come in and just get it done. Mac Jones, they just have the mental capacity. It's not learning. It's not anything. They got the abilities. They got the strength. They got everything you need. It's just that mental trigger in your mind where you have full confidence of what you're doing. And that's the it factor. And that's an unexplainable thing, but quite frankly, that's what it takes to be the best at that position. He doesn't have to be elite. He just has to be good and manageable at that position. And I think that's very attainable for a guy like him.
All right, very quickly with the Bucs. Let's just assume the roster is going to be what it is now, which would mean no Gronk, no Sue, no JPP. When you look at them, you still see legit Super Bowl contender?
I do, yeah. I think they had a really good draft. I mean, they were kind of flexible to do what they wanted to do. I think Logan Hall, I think a lot of people had him rated pretty high. He's very long, 6'6", 280 guy that can really control the line of scrimmage, get good push. Think about a poor man's Calais Campbell, and we'll see how he develops. I mean, that's the kind of, guy he is from a size standpoint. The Luka Decky kid, the Central Michigan good player. I mean, he's going to be really good. Kid loves ball. He's tough. He's nasty. He's smart. He's going to fit. We have an opening competition at that guard position with Stinney and Hainsey and Levert. So, he'll just continue to grow and compete. And then the running back, the Rashad White. I mean, I felt they kind of got him as a steal. A lot of people didn't really know about him, but quite frankly, a lot of the league had him rated as a high second round guy in that top tier of the class. And the one thing that he brings is going to be his catching ability, his return ability, his blocking. He's extremely, he can split out. Again, he's a ball player. He's long. He's slashy. And I think he fits the system well. I think people are going to be excited about him when he's on the field, and they got themselves a tight end. Not to replace Gronk, but I think, he's a guy, young guy, Otten from Washington, that brings a nice, tough guy position for them. I think Gronk will be back this year. I really believe it. I think he's just going to take some time. I think he deserves it. These guys have done a lot in their career, and he's really earned every dollar being a tight end with the Bucs. And I think he will be back. And Sue obviously and JPP. We'll see from a contract structure what they're willing to play for. But quite frankly, I believe some of the young players on their football team they can continue to do well. Todd always has that defense cooking, and excited about the prospect. I think they're going to be right there again, and I think they're not going to miss a beat, and they'll be primed to make another run.
Anthony, congratulations again on getting a head coaching gig in the XFL. We would like to talk to you about it again down the road, but enjoy the rest of your spring, and we'll talk, as I mentioned, a few months from now.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. To all the moms listening, happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Anthony Becht. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Becht, BECHT.
See, did you catch that? That's a pro's pro right there. Finishing up, giving the moms a happy Mother's Day.
Yep. Here you go. A little something for the effort.
Yep. Don't care so much about the two of you, but I want to make sure the moms get a happy Mother's Day out there.
Right. Miller and Moulton. For those of you leaving us, make sure you take care of Mom. Mother's Day. And if you haven't made reservations, you're screwed. David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now they're on.
Tretherian, we talked about that at length. Yeah, it was total Bush League. What we're waiting for is discipline, which doesn't seem to have happened. We think we did it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. He got ejected.
Yeah, he got ejected 2 days ago.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. But DC, they would never do that because the TV money goes to the conferences and gets filtered down. I am telling everyone, you wait to see what the Big Ten media deal is going to be. It could be $1 billion.
Hey, it looks like the Post announced the Joe Buck Manning cast thing.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, is it yesterday?
I think I have a feeling he got it all from Joe.
Usually what he does.
Yeah, I guess Joe has talked about it on his podcast. He does a weekly one with Kate Hudson's brother there. They're actually, the families are pretty tight. She came up to the booth in LA a couple of times. Really ugly. Not.
Might not be able to talk.
Yeah, her friends,
Yeah, they're ugly too.
Yeah, they're all ugly. Yeah. We do need a John Smith Subs in Fort Myers. I would try it. And I'm a Jersey Mike's guy. $1 billion a year. I think the Big Ten's going to have 3 media partners. And I think if you add it all up, it'll be dangerously close to $1 billion annually. That's the kind of money we're talking. Put it this way, I would bet my life that it would be at least $750 a year for the Big Ten going forward.
It's not a good bet because if you lose, you're dead. I mean, I just think there are better bets to make.
I understand that, but I mean, I'm on the back nine. I mean, it's just a matter of what hole.
Everything's expensive, donkey. It's crazy, man. You start looking at prices.
No. Oh, well, yeah. Listen, if I was the Big Ten, I wouldn't do the deal that the ACC did with ESPN where they signed a 15, 14
I don't
year
think it'll
deal?
be more than 10.
Yeah, I think it might even be 6, in the 6 to 8 range. But the Big Ten is going to announce their TV deal here maybe before Father's Day.
I have a random question that
All right.
I think I've asked you before, but I'll ask again. What stadium has the best booth in the NFL?
The booth? Well, we like size. So
Jerry World, probably.
Jerry World's a really good booth. SoFi's a really good booth.
Worst college one's Auburn, right?
The Iron Bowl?
Georgia actually is worse.
Oh, Georgia's worse than Auburn?
Yeah.
That stadium doesn't look that big.
Who's Georgia?
Georgia's.
Yeah.
90,000 people.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wait,
close.
really?
It's like high 80s, 90. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Never mind.
whenever they closed in the one end.
I'm telling you, those stadiums are cathedrals. They're like the Roman Colosseum, those stadiums.
You ever
Yeah,
been-
92,746 for the record.
Holy, okay.
And is probably, well, they made Bryant Denny smaller again, I thought.
Well, Bryant Denny's 101, according to what I'm seeing here.
Right.
Kyle Field's 102.
Knoxville's got to be more.
Neyland's more.
But that could be fourth
15 seconds.
because it's slightly bigger than the Swamp, I think. 92.
Tennessee's 5. Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Bama, Texas, Georgia, UCLA.
Oh, I was just talking
No,
SEC.
yeah,
So
SEC goes A&M.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
it is the bonus hour. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. Happy Friday. Take care of Mom this weekend. Thanks for listening to the Florida Sports Network. All right. We brought up something 30 minutes ago, and if you weren't with us, and for those that were, just bear with us. So we were talking to Josh Pate about college sports and where it's at, and it's messy and what can be done, etc. And so I said, hey, is it possible? Because right now the NCAA is toothless. We look at them as nothing more than event planners the rest of the way. Josh Pate said you could also throw in fundraiser. Okay. And there's already talk amongst the powerful forces in big-time college athletics that, well, we'll do about 8, 10, 12 more years of the status quo. We might expand the playoffs, teams, but we'll get into the 2030s at some point, and then there's going to be a breakaway. Going to be about 4 dozen schools, and they're going to break away from the NCAA in football. They're going to break away from their other Division I brethren. 10 conferences is essentially going to get whittled down. We got
to about 4.
We got 129 or 30 Division I programs at the highest level of college football. And most of the powerful people in the sport right now say, yeah, that number's not going to be more than 50. And I picked 48, just thinking in terms of putting together a playoff and how many would make it, et cetera, et cetera. And I looked at Mark and said, if you've got the time one day,
we've got the beer.
Miller beer. That you figure out who the 48 are going to be. And I would argue that the SEC is going to go as a whole, and that's 16 teams when Oklahoma and Texas join. And the Big Ten is going to go as an entire entity. That's 14 teams. So 30 of the 48 are taken. Notre Dame is clearly going to go.
Right.
So 31 of the 48 are taken.
Correct.
You've got 17 openings, and you've got almost 100 schools. Go.
And so I started going. And I've got it. I was very easy getting the first 10. In my first 10 were Notre Dame, USC, Oregon, UCLA, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, Clemson, and I'll shock people with this one, UCF and BYU, because I want everybody to look at the Big 12 and tell me who you're putting in when Oklahoma and Texas leave.
So then that's 10?
That's 10.
So
that's
you have eight spots left.
I put NC State in.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
If I gave you an option right now, you could stop at 40 or go to 48. Which would you prefer to do?
I'd still go to 48.
Okay. So
Because I think there are schools here. I think there are worthy schools left.
And the reason that we came up with this was we thought that maybe the only chance the NCAA has of regaining control of major college sports is to do what we think the PGA Tour is about to do with the LIV Tour, which is, hey, if you want to play even in one event on that tour, you're done. You're dead to us. You're off the tour. You're banned for life.
And the NCAA making that same threat to these schools saying,
right,
that means you're done for everything.
Right, because the talk is already, hey, we're going to break away, but we still want to be in March Madness and those 23 other sports. You guys do a good job of running tournaments. We'd still like to be in that softball thing.
Right, your event planning's pretty good.
Yeah. And
I mean, not really, because the women's basketball tournament was a complete mess, and you screw up anything that you can, but we don't want to do it, basically, is what we're saying.
I mean, actually, you're a bit of a train wreck. You hate most women's sports, and goodness knows you screw every little guy possible. But believe it or not, you're better than what we would do. So we'll keep you around.
But there was no Duke on this list.
We got 8 spots left.
There's no Kansas on this list from
Correct.
a basketball standpoint.
Right.
Now, I think NC State would probably go. I think North Carolina State would both go. I put Stanford on the list.
Now, can I just stop?
Yeah.
But you don't think NC State's going to get in because of their relationship with North Carolina, do you? Because we've already seen, I mean, Oklahoma just divorced Oklahoma State. A&M divorced Texas.
No, I actually think their football program's pretty good. I think the way football, you've heard me.
Right. So you think they're getting in on their merits, not because they share NC with UNC?
I think they're getting in on their merits.
Fair enough.
Market size, football stadium, etc.
Go.
I think Stanford gets in.
Not Cal, though.
I did not have Cal on the list.
Okay.
I have Washington on the list, not Washington State. I went Oklahoma State and Kansas. And I went Arizona State, and I still have 2 spots left. And I have no earthly idea where they'd go. There's no Virginia on this list.
There's no Va-Tech.
There's no Va-Tech on this list.
There's no BC, Pitt, Syracuse off the top of my head either. There's no Georgia Tech, is there?
No.
Okay. There's most of the Big 12 you've left out.
All of the Big 12.
Well,
with the exception of Oklahoma State and Kansas.
Well, and you did
and the
put
2 newcomers.
UCF and BYU.
Right.
So you're leaving out Cincinnati. You're leaving out Houston. You're leaving out TCU,
Baylor, Texas Tech.
Baylor, which right now, I mean, Baylor athletically has really got it going on.
I've still got 2 spots.
Right. Baylor, I mean, right now, if you did this, Baylor would be like, hey, have you been paying attention?
Yeah, Waco, small stadium. And I know they've got it going on.
Right. We won the Big 12 in football this past year. We were like 2 years removed from winning, the women and then the men in basketball. I mean, this just in, we're pretty good. Okay. Most of the Pac-12 you have out. You don't have Colorado. You don't have Utah. I mean, these are major universities.
I'm with you.
Remember, you're taking BYU. You're not taking Utah, which in that state is a BFD. You got 2 spots left.
2 spots left. And we've got 15 schools we're talking about.
And the phone calls you're going to get. I mean, this is like having the first pick of the 2nd and 4th rounds right here.
You know what this is like being on? The board for the FIFA for the World Cup selection. There ain't anything I can't ask for right now, David. Wine, women, and song, baby. Bring it.
So, and remember, if the NCAA were to play this hard line, which for the record, we don't think they have the guts to do. But the question was then raised, if you're the TV networks, who are you going with? Because like right now, CBS and Turner have a deal with the NCAA for March Madness. ESPN has a deal with the NCAA for all of the other sports. And then ESPN also has a deal with the Power 5 for the college football playoff. I can tell you right now going forward, 10, 12, I think it's going to happen in 4 or 5 years when this current TV deal is up. College football is going to go to the NFL model. They're going to have multiple networks in. They have now realized we are losing a lot of money by just going all in with the 4-letter network. Now, they may be the majority network of our playoff, but we're stupid if we don't bring CBS and NBC and Fox and anybody else who wants to get in this thing, because they're willing to pay 6 figures for a game. A game.
And the first number is very crooked.
So in 4 or 5 years, college football, the playoffs is going to get expanded, and it's going to be on a rotisserie of networks, kind of like the NFL playoffs, which everybody seems to be able to find what games on what channel, right?
Hey, we're even figuring out how to find the hockey, and no one even cares about that.
Right.
And the NBA for that matter. I mean, the NBA and hockey are doing the same thing. They're switching between the same 2 networks back and forth. We can find it. It's not that hard.
I mean, think about it. It's been brought up in the Twitch chat room. Out south, Notre Dame's the only Division I school from Indiana you've got in right now. Remember, it wasn't that long ago IU was a blue blood in college basketball.
No. Indiana and Purdue are both in.
Oh, that's right. They're in the
Big Ten and the SEC get to come.
My bad. Totally my bad. Vapor lock there.
No, that's all right.
See, they're struggling so badly, I have them out of the Big Ten.
Well, and that's, it's really easy. Everybody's talking, we'll throw this team out. We don't believe that the charters of the Big Ten or the SEC would allow them to do so.
Right. The only way you lose membership, the easiest way, besides an outrageous scandal, and remember, I mean, Baylor had a plot where one player killed another, and stuff has
and
gone
Michigan
on.
State and Penn State. I mean, come on.
But the one way you can bounce a school is attendance. Believe it or not, if you don't make a minimum threshold, you get bounced. But that threshold's, it used to be in Division I, to stay 1A, you had to average 15,000 fans a game. Because like Eastern Michigan nearly lost their status the one year, and Temple did as well. But so you got 2 spots left.
2.
Right. You got the majority of the ACC that's still on the table. You got the majority of the Pac-12 that's still on the table. Goodness knows you got the majority of the Big 12.
Right.
And we're not talking about any AAC
that doesn't even put Boise, and Boise, who's done really well with football. Liberty, who's coming on strong with all the money they have.
Well, here's another one that I think could be a giant is San Diego State. I mean, especially with no pro team. I mean, talk about a school that, just opening up. I think they did this past year. They are this year. Brand new on-campus stadium for football.
Yeah, they are poised to be really good.
I mean, their basketball program's a perennial tournament team, gone to second week of the tournament a few times, etc. So, you do have to keep room for, especially since this is going to be 10 years from now, you got to keep room for somebody that can join the party. Because let's face it, Clemson would not have been on this list 10 years ago.
No, they would not have. The other side of those, as much as we're on the charters of the Big Ten and the SEC, if they break away, would they dissolve their conferences to create their Super League? Would they split on their own?
Like we're being asked in our Twitch chat room, Oregon make the list? Yes. TCU, Cincinnati, not on the list. Now, you could argue Cincinnati should be.
And by no means am I saying this list is right. The point David made is it's hard if you're going to take 30 teams from 2 conferences to take 18 from the other 3 and then all of the independents out there. It's not easy. And we don't see them going much past 48.
By the way, this is, and don't laugh at me, but it means no Army, no Navy, no Air Force.
You beat me to it. And Notre Dame's got long history with a couple of those teams.
Well, and do you just want them around for what they represent? I mean, let's face it, this is a business decision that's going to happen down the road.
Miller and Moulton. These are the decisions that are ahead for college football. We think we're out in front of something. Thanks so much for listening. Back with more in a moment right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program The Training Grove, with a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now, maybe allowed back in, but if 130 is going to become 48, which is what the powers that be say is going to happen in about 10 to 12 years, and we figure the SEC, yeah, we figure the SEC and the Big Ten will go as a whole. Well, that's 30.
Notre Dame's 31.
So there's only 17 spots left. Who makes the cut? If you're bored one day, sit down and do the list and realize how close you are to the cut line.
Two neat teenage kids. I can tell you I'm not bored. I spent my morning here in the parking lot with my aunt over in Fort Lauderdale, who I have to be nice with because all the family assets lie with her, while she's yelling at me to make sure you don't run up credit card debt. And then I say, you spent $17,500 on a roof for our house because we're getting bullied with the insurance thing. So I bought a roof for the house. Spent $3,200 on hedges because my asshole neighbor is building 2 garages, and I don't want the workers or him looking at my wife or my daughter while you're in the pool. My daughter has braces. That's $150 on my credit card. My son has to have his wisdom teeth out. He had to cut a car and insurance for him. That's $2,600. My mother, I went up to Connecticut. It was $1,300 for an emergency surgery that I still have to every day hear about catheter and vagina. It's my son's birthday this weekend. I don't know.
Well, whatever you do, watch your credit card debt.
Yeah, whatever I do, watch that.
Two more payments. I just paid the tuition payment, my last summer tuition for my kid. 2 more rent payments.
That's awesome.
He's off the payroll.
That's great. I got 2 more payments.
That's all right. My daughter just turned 8. Good to see you too. It's 2.
That's
in
2
a week.
I know. 2 in the same week after being ignored for 7
Since
weeks.
March.
Yep.
Warming up.
Yeah.
It's because you guys are cool.
Why are we not back yet?
What do you mean, why aren't we back?
It's 18 after the hour. Oh, I'm sorry. 21. I did my math wrong. My bad.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I was going to say. That's on me. He's one of the 3 people associated with the building that has called me in the last 6 weeks to go, hey, heard a promo. I'm like, was it in the show? He goes, no, actually, technically it was before. That's so funny. Cecil and God, who's the other one? Oh, Pam stopped me in the hallway. Said, "Hey, I heard from a guy's show." I go, "Pam, nobody talks to us."
Yeah, we were ahead of Buffalo. Now we're behind Buffalo. I don't know how that happened.
How can so many people be moving
Right.
to Florida and Southwest Florida, and we lost ground to Buffalo? No, Philly is not pitching back-to-back perfect games. He was killing it. He even did the first 2 hours while falling asleep at numerous times during the first 2 hours and still didn't screw up. But he had a screw up in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, here's the ball, coach.
Yep. And Mark then looked right over and went, quick hook. Sparky Anderson over here. Captain Hook. One mistake. Mark just, brought in the lefty.
Yeah. That phone started ringing. Have you ever seen, there's a video, a super viral video from like 2016 of these college kids at Texas A&M who got the phone number of the pitching of the Aggies bullpen, and they brought in a pitcher as
we're
a
ahead
prank
of Buffalo
call.
again. Spring 2022.
I've never seen that. No.
I'll find it.
We're 55 now.
But they prank called the bullpen and brought in a pitcher.
And what are they?
58. We're ahead of Louisville too, right behind Hartford.
Speaking of which, officially today, Hartford lost the Whalers.
Jacksonville's marked 46.
Come back.
We're 54.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Yesterday, we asked the poll question, if you could only attend one race this weekend, which would it be, Derby or the F1 in Miami? Derby won 2-1. We're a big Derby market. We're a big horse racing market.
We are. Top 3 market in the country.
Maybe even top 2. Lexington's number 1.
Louisville's number 1.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. My bad. I'm fading here.
Yeah.
I lost track of the time during the break. Felipe had to look at me like, don't you know your own damn show? Now I'm getting Lexington and Louisville confused, and that can only lead to a beating. I mean, it's not like those fan bases don't hate each other. Get those two confused. So much for our segment on the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. I'm going to keep talking like that. But our poll question today.
What are you watching? What are you more interested in? NHL playoffs?
NBA playoffs, or I'm not interested in either, because we know a lot of you are just football fans and you tolerate the other months of the year.
Hockey's, you know what happens? We put a hockey question up, David. They come
hard.
hard.
Yep. Felipe can only vote so many times. Why NBA gets beat. We'll say, though, NBA playoffs have been terrific. They really have. It is a little interesting quirk they've got going on tonight. They actually come back with the 2 series that played Wednesday night and make them play again less than 48 hours later. Dallas and Phoenix and Miami and Philly. Meanwhile, the series that played on Tuesday, they don't have to worry about playing till the weekend. That's because the networks want to show the Warriors and the Celtics.
Hockey doesn't have that same problem. They just play every other day.
Right.
No one really wants any of that. Although they will make sure they get Rangers Penguins on
ESPN and TNT as opposed to ESPN2 and TBS.
Yes.
And the Bruins will also.
Well, I think they get the ABC game over the weekend as well.
So there you go. That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FL Sports Network on Twitter, floridasportsnetwork.com, and vote. You know, this The PGA Tour would like you to focus on Jason Day shooting a 7 under 63, and he's got your first round lead at the Wells Fargo there. But the only two stories that ESPN and Fox and every other media outlet's talking about is Sergio quoted on the course as getting into a dispute with the rules official and saying, yeah, in 3 weeks, I'm never going to have to listen to you again. Can't wait to be done with this tour.
Yeah, when golf is trending on Twitter,
right,
and it's because of Sergio Garcia having a meltdown on the course, that's not good for the PGA Tour.
When golf is trending on Twitter and it's not about golf.
Right.
Right. Now, have to admit, if they're working on this Netflix series, this could be fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. The Drive to Survive F1 series that people are raving about, the PGA Tour wanted to do a similar show. Boy, would it be juicy right now.
And the other story is Phil Mickelson has a gambling problem, which is not news. The extent of the problem is the news.
It is documented, not rumored, but documented, because Phil had a close buddy who gave him some stock advice.
Yes.
That guy went to jail, got a $10 million fine, went to jail for 5 years for his illegal trading. Mickelson had to pay back the $1 million he made because of the information that he learned.
Right.
Phil was never in any trouble.
He was not charged.
Well, that's what Jay, he was
almost.
Right.
They thought about it. You know, I think they went to a grand jury, decided not to indict him.
But they did a federal audit on Mickelson.
Right.
That stuff is public record. He lost $40 million in 4 years gambling.
Say that again.
$40 million. Now, Phil was making about $40 million a year. These are his peak earning years. But after taxes in California, they figure you're coming up with low 20s. After everything's said and done, that $40 million after taxes was $24 million. Phil flies private, it's got staff, whatever. They figure after all expenses and all things are paid and all the things he's doing, that he made around $10 million, $11 million a year. So for 4 years, he broke even, may have lost money. He lost so much money gambling.
By the way, it's important to note during these years, he won the 2010 Masters and the 2013 Open Championship. I mean, he's still playing pretty darn good golf. I mean, he's in his early 40s here, and he's still bringing it.
The author who penned the biography on Mickelson,
unauthorized, Alan Shipnuck.
Unauthorized, but knows Phil very well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And this whole thing started because, Phil said all this stuff was off the record. This guy wanted to sit down with Phil. He said the book was ready to go. Basically had the manuscript typed, and Phil called and went scorched earth about the tour and everything else.
Phil contends that he was just calling and he was venting and it was not on the record. And Shipnuck was like, oh, no, it's on the record.
And Shipnuck, in the article I just read about him, because he's, he really does a pretty good article about, hey, he's been wondering about Phil a lot and talks about all the places where Phil's supposedly been seen and where he hasn't been. That he also had stories that he didn't put in the book because people were off the record. And he's like, stories that would make you blush stories. And explains, when he was with the guy, I can't take notes. I can't record it. Here's your story. He goes, that's off the record stuff. I can't write about that. It was evident when I did that. It was off the record.
Now, my question is, how many fans? I mean, we all know what's happened to Phil business-wise. Sponsors left him, the whole deal. Now he's a pariah on the PGA Tour. How many fans of his do you think he loses? We asked the question earlier, how many of you have ever divorced your team? And the one place we didn't go, by the way, with that discussion was, have any Browns fans divorced them since acquiring Deshaun Watson? But back to Phil. How many, I'm a Phil guy. Phil's my favorite golfer. And I don't know, it was kind of like Rusty Wallace. When Rusty Wallace retired, I went a long time without really having a favorite driver in NASCAR. kind of sort of started leaning a little bit towards Jeff Gordon at the end of his run, but he was not like I was with Rusty Wallace. And now I got Ross. I'm all in on the Chastain train, baby. All in. But if you're a Phil guy or gal, are you no longer a Phil guy or gal because of this?
And he's also 51.
Yeah, like a month away from 52. U.S. Open, right?
Yeah,
it's always U.S. Open.
US Open
right.
week. I mean, his game's past him. So I don't think he loses. If he loses 5% of his fan base, I would say that would be about the most.
Now, there's no doubt, though, he's going to lose millions in endorsements, and Phil would have been the voice of golf. I mean, Phil would have been in the tower. I thought there was a chance Phil could be in both towers. He could do CBS and NBC. That if Phil wanted, both networks would have hired him and been the voice of golf.
He's been incredibly savvy with the media throughout his career. He knows how to play the media game. He's good. And now, maybe he can be the voice of the LIV tour. I don't know.
Hey, they still don't have a TV deal, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, they're playing this event coming up here the week before the U.S. Open. I don't see where it's going to be televised. It sure as hell ain't going to be on the Golf Channel. Owned by NBC. Entrenched with the PGA Tour.
Fox is the only one out there in this country, to me, that would show it.
Or would a streaming service do it?
Well, I'm just from a network standpoint.
Yep. Miller and Moulton. Be interesting if Sergio talks to the press today after what he said yesterday.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
First off, Felipe, did you see what Guillermo wrote about you?
Yeah.
It is. Congratulations. Also, what you've done the last 6 months is very impressive. To think that you kept up your grades at an elite level and you did a full-time job at these ungodly hours. So,
oh my gosh.
I mean, we bust your chops and all, and now you're going to get to take naps. I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much better. You will.
I can't wait for summer.
The mental strain of not having school hanging over your head.
Man.
And you know that once you get done with this stuff, you can go home, take a nap, and then you still have 8 hours that you can do whatever you want.
And I'm telling you, the nap's key because I got one yesterday for an hour.
Oh my God.
I don't get them that often just with the daughter. It's hard for me to, because I'm not tired. I'm jacked up after the show. I can't go home and fall asleep until about 1 o'clock if I wanted to.
I'm always stuck though. I always find myself in predicaments because, especially Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays this semester, I had a class at 12:30, so I always had that window after the show, and I would always decide nap or basketball or just anything active.
Well, see, now you can go do something active right after the show because if you're like me, I don't know, you're asleep by the time 10 o'clock comes.
I mean, but that's the thing. I go home and I either die or am the exact opposite.
Yeah, because I'll go right. I was going to play golf. That got canceled, so I'm going to go work out.
Well, I'm
supposed to have a 4-hour lesson today. Not very happy about that getting canceled because my golf game sucks.
Dude,
Huh. You had it together a couple of months ago.
I know. I've literally the last 3 holes of the member guest, I played like crap except for 1 hole, and I have not played good since.
But thank you, Guillermo. I appreciate that.
That's why we told you this weekend's a big deal for your family.
It's a BFD.
It is a BFD.
Yeah. My grandparents.
It is funny. My kid's getting crap for not walking from his mom. I don't care. And she didn't pay for a dime of it, so I don't know why the hell she cares.
Yeah, really.
I wish you guys could hear my grandma's voice. Her accent is so strong.
Oh, record it.
That'd be
great.
I will.
Yeah, get her to say you're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh, my God, that would be epic.
That would be amazing.
That's what you get.
That'd be.
This is so-and-so. What's your grandmother's name?
Lucy Gomez.
This is Lucy, Felipe's grandma. You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Would be outstanding.
Hi, Felipe. How are you? Dígame.
I have the Orange Whip. I do the workouts. My golf game. I was supposed to play with the owner of the Orange Whip today. I'm not happy.
Damn it. No.
That would be spectacular. Hello, Felipe. I'm
Hola,
listening.
Felipe. ¿Cómo está?
I'm listening on the Florida
Bien.
Sports Network.
Florida Sports Network.
Got to get that. That's your job.
Oh, that would be epic.
Hi, this is Lucy Gomez.
I'm Felipe's grandma.
Yeah, you have to have that.
I am Felipe's abuelita. My God.
Oh, it would be awesome.
Abby, I love you.
I do, Sean. I will say the training mechanisms and all of it's great. When I don't do it enough, my game slips. The thing that I advertise for, I truly, honest to goodness, believe it. Really and truly. No, I don't do that at the club. I do that in my own neighborhood. I'm going to do it today. I'm going in for the workout. I'm going to put MSNBC on full blast.
That's another one, man. If you could just give us a panoramic view, about 20 minutes into it, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!"
And then the grandfather's just a cigar smoking Don.
Nice,
really,
who can't hear.
By the way, about 20 minutes into that, you know what you should do? You should turn around and go, "Where are you gonna go?"
I gotta cut up that sound. I'll have it for next week.
Would be epic. Really would. I mean, especially if she lays it on thick.
I'm gonna get her saying, "Where are you gonna go to?" I'm gonna do one in Spanish and one in English. By the way, my grandfather spends his days watching Marlins games. That's all he does.
Wow.
That and golf.
They're on the West Coast. So you're gonna be okay going back to the hotel room?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes before we're done. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. Mother's Day Sunday. Come on, man. You got to deliver. You have to deliver. You're probably in big trouble now from a reservation standpoint. You're going to have to eat probably 2 hours later than you wanted to, I think, to have a shot. But you can still do flowers, cards, chocolate. You can still save the day, save your you-know-what.
Yeah, the restaurant called me back yesterday to confirm the reservation. You're damn right we're coming.
We got 315 people who want this reservation. You sure? Miller and Moulton. It's graduation weekend for young Felipe. Grandparents, parents driving across the alley today.
Grandparents are coming in early, actually. Got an alert that they're leaving at 11, so they should be here by 1.
They drive that fast?
Oh, come on.
Hey, listen, just
Cuban, Miami.
Okay. Sometimes people slow down with age. That's all.
We have to. We're late for everything.
So you told them to be here by 2. Is that what you said?
I told them to do whatever they wanted.
All right. So big weekend. And Mark, I think you really came through for Felipe. Monday, I think it was, when you said to him, you need reservations for every meal now.
Well, I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he listened, because I've given him a decent amount of advice that he basically passes on most every day.
But I believe a Friday night reservation, a Saturday night reservation, and a Sunday brunch reservation. Man, you are going to be, you got your hair cut, you shaved, whatever.
You got to get rid of the rest of that thing.
That
goes today,
I fixed
right?
it up, though.
The caterpillar is just lousy.
Well, it's good that I'm seeing them first, because if they approve, my parents, they're done. Sorry.
Oh, you're seeing the grandparents before the parents?
Yeah, yes.
You think your grandmother's going to like that?
I don't know. We'll see.
You'll know quickly.
You will know very quickly. She won't have to speak. It'll just be the look on her face. And then you're going to run back to your bathroom and put a razor to that lip.
Ay, Felipe, corta todo eso. Por favor.
Okay, could you translate?
Cut that, please.
Time now.
Leave it to the oldest guy in the show, and definitely the oldest soul, to live in the past. Here's David Moulton with Today Was the Day When.
All right, we're starting in 1861. Remember, we had just started that whole Civil War thing. And Arkansas and Tennessee stood up and said, we're out of here. They were the 9th and 10th states, Mark, to secede from the United States. Arkansas and Tennessee on this day in 1861. So on this day in 1903, the White Sox committed 11 errors against the Tigers and won.
What?
10-9. Believed to be the most errors ever in a Major League Baseball game.
Oh, my goodness.
And they won.
And they won.
Man, oh, man.
And won.
All right. In honor of Ohtani yesterday, who threw 7 innings of shutout ball, struck out 11, only had a 3-ball count on 1 batter, only had a 2-ball count on 4 batters, and then also had 2 hits, drove in a run, scored a run. Babe Ruth made his major league debut on May 6th of 1915. Are you ready for this?
Go.
This was his debut. He pitched 12 innings. He hit his first career home run. Sox lose to the Yankees 4-3. I don't know if he was a losing pitcher. I think the loss happened after him. 12 innings, a homer, and I think a no decision.
So they brought someone in the 13th, is
right.
what you're telling me?
Well, pitch count, The Hindenburg exploded today, 85 years ago in Lakehurst, New Jersey, 1937. There were 97 people on board. 35 of them died. Also, one person who was on the ground died.
Can you imagine if that happened today?
Well, and
that would be
a legendary, tragic, but radio call was being broadcast live, and the gentleman said, "Oh, the humanity, oh, the humanity."
It is what Les Nessman does in the turkey drop.
Right.
Is channel that. That's
yep.
One of the brilliant parts of that terrific 23 minutes.
On this day in 1940, John Steinbeck won the Pulitzer. He wrote The Grapes of Wrath. Well, that held up pretty well. Stalin became premier of the Soviet Union on this day in 41.
Didn't hold up nearly as well.
No. Got to admit, though.
Good run.
For the next 4 years, we needed him.
Damn right.
For the next 4
Damn right.
years, we needed him. I mean,
look it up.
We had Churchill and what have you, but let me tell you, when they decided to go east, that was the demise. 1954, historic day in sports. Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile barrier in Oxford at 3:59.4. 1957, two noteworthy events, Mark. It was the last broadcast of I Love Lucy 65 years ago today.
Okay.
And John F. Kennedy won the Pulitzer for Profiles in Courage. That was Senator John F. Kennedy in 1957. The Stones released Paint It Black on this day in 66. The Hartford Whalers 25 years ago today became the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, yeah, and Rick Pitino became head coach of the Celtics and demoted Red Auerbach. It's the other part of that a lot of people forget is he got named president of the Celtics. Well, that had to come at somebody's expense. Right. Let me tell you, you better win if you're going to demote Red Auerbach.
Right.
I missed, written down here, scribbled in 82, Gaylord Perry won his 300th game, pitching for the Seattle Mariners.
Going to go Rangers. I would have been wrong.
One of the great pitching performances of all time. And those of us of a certain age, I think, can remember where we were because it was broadcast on a superstation. In his fifth career start 24 years ago today, Kerry Wood threw a one-hitter and struck out 20 Houston Astros. On WGN, midweek, fifth career start, Kerry Wood. Jack Brickhouse called into the broadcast and said in the late innings, this is the greatest pitching performance I've ever seen. In his fifth career start, and Jack only lived a few more months. Also, Mark, on the same day, although it happened in the evening. So you had Kerry Wood in the afternoon, and you had Donut Gate.
Have another donut, Koharski. Who now is doing the rules analyst for TNT.
It happened in 88, my bad. All right. So it was 34 years ago today. The Devils and Bruins,
yes,
I believe, Eastern Conference Finals. And Jim Schoenfeld caught yelling at referee Terry Koharski, quote, "Eat another donut, you fat pig." That was after Game 3. Bruins won to take a 2-1 lead in the series. NHL suspends Schoenfeld. Devils get a court injunction right before Game 4, and so the suspension is put on hold. Referees boycott working the game. And the Devils in the NHL basically have to, when they call, hey, is there a doctor in the house? We need a doctor. They had to go through the crowd, and they found 3 guys and they put them in like NHL sweatpants, if you remember. And the two teams played Game 4. Devils won. Schoenfeld's suspension was upheld. He missed Game 5 in Boston. Eat another donut, you fat pig. Elon Musk founded SpaceX 20 years ago today. And 18 years ago today, it was the last episode of Friends.
Wow.
52.5 million people. Or as we call it today, the NFC Championship. Weeb Eubank, Reuben Hurricane Carter, Sigmund Freud, and Orson Welles. All no longer with us, all born on this day. The oldest Hall of Famer in baseball is the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays is 91 today.
Wow.
91. Bob Seger's 77.
Might be down here. Had a resident in Southwest Florida for a lot of years.
Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair is 69. Tom Bergeron is 67. You like Tom Bergeron? You know, the video show and the whole, dancing thing.
Whatever.
Looks good for 67.
He does.
I'll
I
give
agree
him
with that. I don't dislike him.
You know who looks good? George Clooney, 61. Martin Brodeur is 50. I text Seth last night, let him know.
Good for you.
Jason Witten is 40. His hair is 3. I thought that was a better line than that. Chris Paul's 37. Goran Dragic is 36. Meek Mill is 35.
Meek
did not think he'd have Meek Mill.
Whoa.
That's something.
By the way, it's Dragic, not Dragic.
Does it on air.
I give him Meek Mill.
Does it on air. Corrects you on air.
He beats me over the
People
head.
make the mistake all the time. He's a Heat legend. It pisses me off. It's Dragic, not Dragic.
First off, this whole he's a Heat legend. You and Tim Reynolds are the AP, and I love Tim Reynolds.
I love Goran.
Okay, but I mean, you guys, forgive me a break. And apparently you're going to retire his number? Are you serious?
No, Kyle Lowry's wearing 7 now. That'd be awkward.
Jose Altuve's 32, and today was the day.
One glaring omission today, David, because you did have a nice Rolling Stones tidbit.
I didn't do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this.
Don't
day.
care about that.
Okay.
Today in 1965, in Clearwater, Florida, Keith Richards of the Stones can't sleep because there's a guitar riff running through his head. He rolls a tape, falls asleep, and wakes up that he's recorded to the riff to satisfaction in Clearwater, Florida.
Nice.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We got Zorro, Port St. Lucie. 20-year-old man takes a stolen Mercedes SUV, at one point doing 178 miles per hour in a chase that went through 6 counties between the Turnpike and 95. Finally, they got the stop sticks to flatten the vehicle's tires. The suspect was fleeing, so the canine named Zorro takes down the driver. 1 for Zorro, 0 for the 20-year-old who's going to spend a little time in the pokey. For the bad, we go to the gritty streets of San Carlos Boulevard, where apparently Dave Augers had a yard sale and then just left everything there, and now is collecting more and more trash. And it's not just the stuff in his yard. Neighbors are starting to get concerned because they've seen him walking outside with a knife, standing in traffic, and walking around without his pants on.
I drove past that guy. Not even kidding.
Sometimes at 4 a.m., he's out there wandering around, hooting and hollering, said neighbor Mark Hiller.
Without his pants on, huh?
Without his pants on.
Yeah. I saw that guy.
Seems to be a recurring theme in this segment.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Genesee County in Michigan, where, Mom, you got to put away the edibles. Because Melinda Garcia turned herself in to Genesee County authorities on Wednesday after her child took a package of THC-laced gummies to school and shared them with their kindergarten classmates. 4 kids between 5 and 6 said they had feelings of shortness of breath, nausea, and were lethargic, and then all ate as many gummies that did not have THC for the next 10 hours. She could face up to 10 years in prison for her mistake.
Yeah.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 6th, 2022.
Obviously, F1 race Sunday, TV coverage at 3:30 on ABC for those that are inclined. Let's hope the rain stays away. Kentucky Derby tomorrow. They go to post sometime after 6. It's on NBC. But as for tonight, NBA playoffs, Heat and Sixers, game 3 in Philly. Embiid right now is listed as out. I predict he'll show up Willis Reed-like. Heat are 3.5-point favorites. I'm taking the points.
I'm staying away because I don't know about Embiid. If there's no Embiid, I'm laying the 3 all day long, and they're going to sweep them.
Meanwhile, Phoenix and Dallas.
Lay the point with the Suns all day long.
Really? Okay, I'll take it. NHL playoffs tonight. Lightning, game 3 against the Leafs. Tampa just a slight favorite. It's on TBS. The Bruins get the TNT treatment early. Minnesota and St. Louis, Edmonton at LA. What do you like tonight? Leafs or Lightning? It's a virtual toss-up.
I like the Lightning at home.
I do as well. And then baseball, both the Rays and the Marlins are out west.
But let's get to the important series. The Reds are hosting the Pirates, probably their best chance to win games this season.
The Pirates are 7.5 ahead of the Reds in the standings. Pittsburgh's is minus 125.
Right, you got to lay money on Pittsburgh. Think about that.
The day game is the Dodgers at Wrigley.
Where are you going to go?
Apple TV tonight. If you're a Red Sox fan, that's where the game is, hosting the White Sox. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go